Welcome back. Episode number 7 or volume. We don't really know what we're going to do yet, but here we are. We're in Garage Ocho once again in California. Good buddy, Sea-Dog here. We've been riding the last couple days. We had a special guest yesterday come through, which you'll see prior to this one. And yeah, we've got a great guest. I'm pretty stoked. But before we get into that, Corey, how's it been? You've been in Huntington. What have you been doing the last couple weeks? I left you there solo to get churros by yourself. And what have you been doing? So then I see you got a tan line, so you must have bought a bicycle or something.
Definitely bought a bicycle.
Didn't quite get the memo on the old sunscreen.
Yeah. It was supposed to be cold, and then it was warm, so didn't think I was going no jacket, but we went no jacket. But yeah, we've been just hanging out. Me and Phelan, we've been on the grind. My family showed up from New York on Monday. They surprised me, so that was really cool. And yeah, just really been getting ready. We got a busy 3 weeks ahead of us, season starting. So yeah, just getting going with that kind of stuff. And
Do you feel ready?
I think so. We'll get to ride the bike for the first time next week, which is only a week before the first race. So as ready as can be, but it's been, we've been in worse spots. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be good.
Sweet. Well, let's get into it. We got our main man here, Gigi. Garrett Gerloff is in town, and he's been in Europe for a while now. We're trying to get him while he came back. I believe he's going to Coda next week, and we're stoked to have him at the Ocho. He rode today on a BMW, a stock one, Chuck Walla. Garrett, thanks for coming on the pod.
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys. No, I appreciate it for real. Like, thanks for, bringing me out here and let me ride your bike, Corey, or BMW Motorrad USA's bike.
Yeah, their bike.
No, it was a good time for sure. And I guess I just gotta preface by saying that I'm sorry if I sound like I have allergies, because I do. I didn't think anything grew in the desert, but turns out something is, because it's bothering me bad. And also, you guys didn't even introduce the fourth member of the couch here.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
This is Fez. He's made an appearance from the background.
All right.
People usually
he's
hear him
here for the whole
snoring.
show this time around.
He's kind of an attention hog, but
Yeah,
we'll let it slide for now.
How was the day riding with the boys? You were giving some guys some toes. You
Yeah,
trying to set a new lap record on that thing. You absolutely roasted it by the end of the day. We were down to the cords.
Yeah. No, it was a good time, man. I'm impressed with the bike BMW makes. Like, as for a stock bike, dude, I was really impressed. Like,
This
just
isn't
with
a paid advertisement, is it?
No,
Did they pay you for this?
no.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Hey,
will they?
BMW,
I don't know.
Let's
We'll
send
get
him an
invoices.
invoice.
Yeah.
Send him an invoice.
there he is.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's basically the bike I was riding today. Same thing. No, it was good. Like, it was fun playing with the electronics and whatnot. And no, I had a good time. A lot of guys out here riding, which was cool. So yeah, man.
Is this the first
spinning
time you
laps.
rode a stock bike? The BMW stock?
Yeah, it is the first time I rode the stock bike, but I mean, it's got some power. It surprised me a couple of times, especially when the bike was on when the tire was on the cord, because she spun up. So
Yeah, I heard you getting a little Western out there.
yeah, for sure. I there was a couple close passes, so I kind of feel bad. I hope nobody hates me right now, but there was a lot of guys out there, so I was trying to find my way around.
I didn't even see you out there all day, to be
Neither
honest
did
with
I.
you.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for both of y'all, and I don't know what happened, but I didn't see either one of you, so it's pretty. It was pretty lonely.
You were just going so fast in that thing. out there.
That
You
must
Did you
have
see
been
any of
it.
them baggers out there?
Oh yeah. The baggers out here. You guys are nuts, dude. Or you're nuts. Oh my gosh. Hey, I've been watching the Daytona highlight of you just. Dude, I don't know how you pulled out of that,
Here
but
we go.
yeah, no.
Here we go again.
I don't know how
go
you
viral.
didn't just eat the biggest.
I don't think he had a choice. He's
No.
fully committed at that point.
Yeah. But no, that was impressive to pull through that and to keep your composure and actually
Would you ride
pull through
one?
with the win.
Dude, he's riding was it an R18?
Yeah,
What was the
yeah,
thing?
exactly. Yeah, BMW's got that R18. They lift that thing up a little bit.
Chop the motors off the
Is
side.
this the airplane?
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
dude, I did a burnout on one of those things, and it was peeling me over. I almost snapped a leg.
I've been trying to get BMW to give me something to ride around in Europe, and dude, an R18 to go from Andorra to the airport, set the cruise control, just be pretty nice. So BMW.
Well, you got the scooter at home in Texas, so
Yeah, I
mean,
do. Yeah. No, hey, I'm a street bike guy. Like, I do street bike stuff all day long. I don't have a car at home. I just have the moped. So
Surprised
I mean,
BMW hasn't gotten you a car for a year.
They
I mean,
did. They did in Europe, to be fair.
Okay, cool.
For a couple months at least.
That's
and
cool.
and that was sick. That was super badass of them. But back in Texas, I don't know. I just don't have a car, and I got the moped, the BMW C400X that I bought in 2019, back when I was riding for a different manufacturer. So sorry, boys, but yeah, I've had it since then, and dude, we're 5 digits on the mileage counter. So
this guy doesn't even need a car; he just runs wherever
I
he's
know,
gotta go.
dude.
I
can't wait to bring it up. So we've been watching. You got a YouTube channel now yourself. How's that been, kind of creating content and doing that whole thing and giving people a day in the life? I'm sure everybody by now has seen the diet one and Mr. Carnivore himself, Mr. Meat Eater, trying to shave a few kilos off.
I didn't know I had the reputation until I saw y'all's podcast with Joe and talking about it. I was caught
You
off
didn't know
guard.
you had the reputation, dude? What are you talking
I
about?
didn't know
You
I had
put
a
out like
reputation
men's
for
health
being
color
a-
last year.
You did like a lighting photo and you're just abs out. I was
Just
like,
somebody's missing you between.
That was all lighting. That's what you guys
Yeah,
did. It's
all
all
lighting,
lighting.
yeah.
I don't know. I did a shoot like that, and let me tell you, I didn't look like that. There's a little more
Well,
lighting.
dude, your guys not as good as Photoshop as mine. So, no, it's been fun making content and stuff. I mean, it's kind of nerve wracking because you never know how anybody's gonna take it. Like, I'm sure you guys are in this. We're in the same boat when you first started doing the podcast and stuff. Which, by the way, I thought was a super cool idea, and I'm glad you guys took the step forward and got all this, cool equipment and stuff to do this.
Got no idea what we're doing. But
Yeah.
No.
I haven't noticed completely. So, yeah.
We got YouTube videos running like what we're doing every single time we go out. We're like, man, we probably shouldn't do that next time. Like the other, but we're making it happen. And hey, real quick, shout out to everybody who bought a T-shirt. You guys really supported. That's how we bought the camera equipment, at least some of it. And yeah, we really shameless plug on the tee. So we appreciate it.
If you haven't bought one, buy one.
Buy one because we're floating it hard.
For sure. I got my phone right here. Let me just go pull it up right now. No, it's been cool doing the YouTube stuff. It's my buddy Brad that's making the videos and stuff, and I think he's doing an awesome job. Like, I think he's doing really good with filming it all, editing. I mean, some of it looks like a damn movie. So
The quality is really, really good, and to get that kind of behind the scenes, and I feel like Dorna's relaxed some of the having cameras about, because I remember when I was in with Brad in MotoGP, it was like one social clip you could do a day, and they were really restrictive. So to see them kind of relax a little bit and get a little bit more inside into your team and meeting your crew and stuff like that, and even behind the scenes, it's been really cool for me to watch.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys are liking it. That's what I've had the idea for a while to get into YouTube, and I've always been like a big fan of camera equipment, believe it or not, like ever since I was a kid. So I amassed I don't even want to go into how much money I had in all this camera stuff, but I had it all ready to go. So
What else you been doing at home in Texas?
hey, easy, bro.
I thought Aaron was the only one with an OnlyFans.
Cut. All right, let's go. Let's move on.
That's
No, I don't know. I don't know what to say after that. But yeah. Anyway, so I had everything I needed. I just needed somebody to help out with actually recording it and editing it and everything. And it just worked out perfect to where he could come and do it. And
So is he flying to every race?
yeah, flying to every race.
Wow. Okay.
And, I mean, no, it's I'm invested quite heavily in all of it.
Is he flying business with you?
No, bro. me in business? Are you kidding me? No, dude. I coming back from Indonesia, it was 40 hours of flight time. 40 hours to go from to go from Lombok back to Houston. And
How's that even possible? 40 hours. That's absurd.
no, I mean, it was 3 flights, so it was it was
Yeah.
broken up. But no, bro, economy all the way. But one of the planes, there was only 2 seats. And then there was, I guess that was where the plane tapered because we were on the last row of the plane, and so there wasn't a 3rd seat. So I just made myself a little bed on the floor right there, and I was living it up. Yeah, poor man's first class.
We got to get this guy out of here.
He's a little break. Peter's gonna call after that one.
Should we introduce Kay over here?
Oh, sorry. You going to doggy jail, buddy?
Get out of here. I don't know what's going on with him.
He's excited,
He's going
man.
through puberty.
He's
Oh,
excited.
yes, you're right.
Dude,
Yeah.
You're
What
here.
a time for a young man,
We
dude.
were talking about that yesterday. What a time to be alive. That's cool though. So how have the first couple races been? Obviously you're back here. You've had some time in the BMW, which was you really didn't get much testing.
I mean, if you had to give me a grade, if you had to give me a grade, how do you think it's been,
Dude, I mean,
in y'all's opinion?
unfortunately, your marker is kind of the other guys, right? And you're not on the factory team, so that's kind of your first benchmark is to beat them. Obviously, everyone wants to see the very front, but I think, based on what everybody else is doing, I think you're exceeding everyone's expectations. I think everybody kind of knows.
I really like his review, so can I?
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Like, we looked at it. I mean, all the BMWs were kind of in a train there for a bit. We were actually watching the race, I'm pretty sure, and we were talking about it, and we're like, come on, dude, like, you got to beat these guys. Like, if you can beat your teammates, like, that's it. Everyone knows the BMW is struggling. I mean, Redding he's been on the podium, you've been on the podium, and it's like, people know, like, you guys are good. So Loris Baz, I mean, you guys, there's quality guys around. So they know the BMW is struggling a little bit, and we can be honest here. Everyone can see it. So it's just about how can you get in front of them guys and beat them guys. I mean, right? Top BMW would be pretty good. But how do you feel? Like, it's a new bike. They're firing a lot of things at it, and you're coming off an extensive career on a Yamaha, which is probably completely different. So how has that transition been?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a bike, so it's still two wheels and a frame and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, yeah, compared to the other guys and stuff, I'm happy to be there. That it wasn't like a big step. It seems. There's been a couple races where I really struggled. Like Indonesia was one of them. Race 1, like, dude, I was so far off the back of, I was so far back, and I think Michael got 6th and stuff, and yeah, we were just way off. But then, like, the next day we were there, and yeah, I think they're definitely putting a lot of money and effort and resources into making the bike better. And the bike, it's like, I mean, for sure we can go into more detail in this, but the bike it's got so much tech on it. Like, it's if you just saw it on paper, you'd think this is right up there with the best bikes on the grid. It's just, I mean, one of the complaints that I've had is, or it's a strange complaint to have, and I kind of noticed it's like something similar on the stock bike, which is good for, somebody that's not trying to go to 100%. They're, like, out here, doing track days and stuff, or even, doing some racing. It's nice to have that the electronics that are super refined and keep everything under control. But on the race bike, when we're trying to get that last 5% out of it, I feel like it's almost like the electronics are so refined that I just don't have the best connection between my ass, the rear tire, and the throttle. And so it's kind of pushed me into having some bad behavior with not controlling the throttle as much as I should.
I
and
just saw the tire on that bike out
there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's bleeding over a little bit, but yeah, it just makes me. It kind of makes all of us, I think, want to go to full throttle quicker than maybe we should. But it's yeah, like I said, that's a weird complaint to have. And like, what are the guys supposed to do with me saying that? It's like it's almost like me saying, oh, the electronics are too good. Like, you make them worse. Like, it's not. And so it's kind of it's a weird situation to be in.
You're almost right into what the data guy can give you, right? Whoever's behind the laptop, he gives you, and if it's it, you're just riding to that, and you can't seem to break through it because you can't do it any earlier. It just that's what it is. Maybe I don't know. Is that what it feels like, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Andy, my guy, my electronics guy. He's definitely the man. So I'm glad to have him on my side.
No,
but yeah, there's a lot of that's the thing. It's like there's not really consensus on, like, all right, we should be doing this, or we should be doing this, or we should go down this road.
It's called development, right?
Yeah, it's just development. But I am excited to go back to Europe because I think just those style of tracks and having some cooler temperatures, I think, like, a bit more grip, like, it does seem to help out us a decent amount. And then the bike's a screamer, dude. Like, it's so freaking fast. It rips. I mean, I think at Phillip Island we weren't too far off full GP speeds and stuff like that. So trying to keep that under wraps or trying to keep that under control is not easy. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else you got. I mean, I don't really know. There's like other stuff, but
But so as far as going back to Europe, you're excited. You're more optimistic than you were probably.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You guys just did a couple tests just leading up to this too, right? Right after the last round.
Yeah. So we just did a 2-day test at Catalunya, and then we did like a track day at Assen, which was actually better than I thought it would be. You know, like it.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's there was the closing speeds. It's pretty. I mean, it's like damn near being on a MotoGP bike, and then you got the guys out there on 750s, you know, and stuff. So I mean, it's
Especially
and I don't have the best reputation either. I'll be honest. So it's
at Assen, right?
At Assen. Yeah. So there was a little flashback here and there, but they were both actually, they were good tests. We got a lot of info at Assen and you know, it's only 2 weeks away, so weather-wise and stuff, like I don't think it's going to be a whole lot different. So you know, we got some good info on that, and I think we'll show up to FP1, you know, in a pretty good spot, hopefully. No promises. And then we did Catalunya, and I mean, that's the thing, is at the beginning of the year, we were kind of going in a direction with setup that was more similar to kind of what the guys have been using in Yamaha. Because like you just kind of, you got to go some way in the beginning just to.
Well, you got to take some of your knowledge. I mean, you've ridden a motorcycle for so many years and it worked. Like you got to take some of it, even though if it doesn't work, you got to figure out if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going that direction with geometry stuff, and you know, it didn't feel bad. Didn't give me the same kind of confidence that I had on the Yamaha going that way, but it wasn't bad. And then we went kind of the complete opposite way at Catalunya, and I was really, man, I was impressed with how the bike felt. Everything just started feeling like more natural and stuff. And we ended the first day in 4th place, and I was kind of shocked a little bit, but I was really happy. And then the next day we ended up 10th, and we were second BMW, but still it was only a 10th off. And a lot of guys, I guess, had used qualifying tires, and we didn't use qualifying tires. So, you know, but it seemed like we were going in the right direction, and it was the closest we had been to the fastest guy. So that's kind of the marker. It's like, at least when I first came to World Superbike, it was how far off are you lap time wise to the fastest, and after a race distance, how many seconds behind are you? And it's like, if you can monitor those two gaps and just try to keep getting those gaps closer and closer, I mean, yeah, we made up some good ground that year. So try to do the same thing.
Do you think it's been tougher? Obviously the competition's gotten more stacked. Like, it's tougher now, obviously.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. I go through all the, I mean, I try to figure out what's going on. I try to have references, because it's nice to know where you are. Sometimes you think that you're way off, but then you go back and look at like past races and past, you know, like sessions, and you know, you're not actually doing too bad. And the competition has been just ridiculous. Like this year, one of the things I've been telling people is, so last year in Australia, under similar conditions, like they weren't a lot different, temperature-wise, wind-wise, everything. I did a 30.7 and qualified 6th place. So, all right, second row, I'll take it. This year, I went 4/10 faster and did my best ever lap time that I've ever done at Phillip Island, and I qualified 16th.
Wow.
So I lost 10 places by going 4/10 faster. I mean, it's just stuff like that you come off the track and you just shake your head, and it's just like you don't really know where to go, kind of in a way. And I think it was a similar story in Indonesia. In Indonesia, I think I might mess this up, but basically everybody's going way faster now. And so even Jonathan's race pace, even though he looked like he was struggling compared to everybody else, he was doing the same race time that he had. I don't know if this was Indonesia or Australia. So, all right, my bad. But it was either Indonesia or Australia. Jonathan had the same race pace, but he, instead of winning, it had to have been Australia. Instead of winning, he ended up finishing 7th place or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
everybody else is taking a big jump.
Everybody's taking a big jump, man. And it's, yeah, I mean, that's what we want, though. I mean, we want everything to keep moving forward. We want to.
It's tight. It's tight right now.
Yeah, it's becoming for sure more like GP as far as, you know, we got 10, 12, 14 guys within 1 second, which is definitely in the direction that GP's gone. So, yeah, it's just getting tougher and tougher.
What do you think that difference is? Is it the talent, or the bikes are just getting better?
Yeah, combination. I think there's more guys that fill the gaps for sure. Like
there's some stacked guys in there, even guys coming back from MotoGP and Moto2 and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Vierge and Gardner and Lake Owona. You know, who else has come over from Moto2 recently?
Well, isn't Balda in there?
Agurter's up there. Balda.
Yeah, I mean, but you look at like the Honda was kind of just like a pile, and now it's actually like in some sessions is
Yeah,
making,
yeah. They, at
they're doing
Catalunya, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
There's another spot.
And Vierge was on the podium in Indonesia. No, I think it's more that that there's more. They're filling in the gaps better from first to 10th. So instead of like being, like in the past, you would be 5th place. Now there's just more guys in that range to
so
knock you down to
10th
10th.
off, and you could be 10th instead of 5th.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. How do you like living over in Europe? You've been over there, what, 5-6 years now?
Yeah, it's dude. No, it hasn't been that long, but it does feel like it's adding up.
You
I've
did,
been
what, 2 years on the Yamaha, and then
the end of 2019 is when
okay.
is when I went over there, and yeah, so the end of 2019, 20, 21, 22 on 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, on like year, what is that, 4?
Nice, dude. Finally, you got something wrong.
oh, yeah.
I like it, man. I do like it. I got some people over there that I know got my back, like my trainer Aleix Santa Creu, who also works with some MotoGP guys like Jack Miller, Maverick Vinales, Augusto Fernandez. Like
wow.
We have a cool training group for sure.
Where do you live?
I live in Andorra.
Oh, sweet. So you live with all the boys.
Yeah, everybody lives up there, and I mean, I'd say we get together more like during training than we do like outside of training and stuff. So that's the one thing that's a little bit hard is that there is that group, there is that kind of camaraderie a bit, but it's like you get the vibe that at the end of the day, everybody's competition over there, because my spot could be one of theirs, and their spot could be one of mine potentially. So you always there's always this feeling, at least from my perception, that there's like a bit of hesitancy to really be friends kind of thing. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, they're all killers too, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they're especially like, I mean, I don't want to be this, but like Spanish, they're killers, man. Like they would much rather a Spanish guy be on that bike than you, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
like,
well, I mean, we're pretty diverse over there, man. We got an Italian, we got a Spaniard, we got Australian, we got an American,
okay.
a Catalunya guy.
Call me out, dude.
I just But I mean, everybody's going for this. There's a limited number of spots, so
and good bikes.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's been a bit strange. It makes me miss home, because I got like I have an awesome group of friends back home, and we've been friends for a long time. They don't have anything to do with racing really, and yeah, there's more of like this. There's like everybody's in the circle. There's that trust. There's all that, and going over there, you kind of feel like you're just a bit. I don't know what the word is.
Like
but
an outsider a little bit.
Yeah, I guess. Or everybody's kind of at arm's length in a way. So,
yeah.
But me and my team, like, dude, my team's awesome. Like, we got like a really good relationship already, even though it hasn't been that long. Also, the relationship I have with my past team is still really good. So, there's definitely people that I hang out with, and that but they're farther away. Germany, Italy. I'm in Andorra. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Is it warm? Isn't it like the mountains?
It's definitely, it's
warm?
not, yeah.
It's not warm, right?
No, dude,
No,
it's like
hell no.
snowing all the time.
No, dude.
You never
been
see,
to Andorra.
dude. No, it's like the winters are horrible.
I'm trying to
there.
paint a picture for the viewers.
Yeah, I
you know
know.
what I mean?
It's
It's
not
super.
there's
So like
not
all
one-
the cyclists live there.
Dude, just imagine being stuck in an apartment for months on end because there's 4 feet of snow outside, and you're just
Why do you don't? But you don't really live there during the winter. Obviously, you're in Texas.
No. It's actually, I really like Andorra. It's a cool place. The cycling there is epic.
Yeah.
But it sucks in a way because it's either straight up or straight down.
Yeah,
And
a lot of the big like movie star, and there's a lot of good cyclists out there. I see a lot of Strava guys.
Yeah.
And the but it's kind of like a training town now, isn't it? Like, but it's still far from Barcelona. Like, because if
it's
you're
like 3 hours, yeah.
yeah, but you go to Barcelona, like you're not chartering
No, dude.
the Big
no.
Bird.
PJ?
No way, dude. The PJs
You know, not like
are
a
out
Leish,
of reach. Let's
not a
say.
Leish, just-
No, man. I mean, I might be able to like sneak on the runway, and then right before they take off, jump onto the wing or something. But that's as close as I'm gonna get to a PJ. No, bro. I get on my scooter. I rip from Andorra down to the airport.
Dumb and
Free
Dumber
parking. Dude,
Wait,
free
what? On a scooter?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
What? I mean, it's gotta be a fast scooter.
It's a 300. Yeah. I should do 120.
Oh,
120,
okay.
120,
This guy's got his
120K
gear
an
bag behind
hour.
him.
Wait, are
120K an hour.
So you just rolling the wheels off the Ocho bag?
I haven't had to do that yet, but I mean, my gear bag gets bigger and bigger every year, so we're getting closer and closer to that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So do you rent a place there currently, or do you just live with people that are there?
I rent a 2-bedroom place in Andorra, and which is perfect now because I got Brad that stays over there with me, my videographer for on track stuff. Let's be clear, and yeah, so but I mean it works pretty good. It works pretty good.
That's nice. You were telling me yesterday how cheap it is. It's like super cheap compared to American prices.
Yeah, it's like that's the crazy. Everything's so relevant because in Spain, dude, I was staying at a really nice place. Like I guess it's probably like €500,000 or something like that is what it would cost to build and to buy. And the rent was like €600 a month, and I was splitting it between myself and Sean Dylan Kelly at one point. But before that, another roommate that I had, so I was paying €300 a month for this 4-bedroom, like 2-bath, 2-story, like, and it just didn't add up at all. And then I went to Andorra, and for that town, €600 was like a lot, you know. And then I went to Andorra, and I'm paying like €800 now, and you know.
That's not bad.
It's not bad compared to America, but you know, over there it's higher, you know, and stuff, and yeah, it's crazy how relevant things are.
So I know we're on the subject of housing. You had a little.
Oh, dude. Yeah, speaking of my Indonesia trip, the whole Indonesia thing was, dude, a wreck from the beginning. But then, you know, I'm feeling like slightly better from my horrific food poisoning. I get on the plane. I do my 40-hour trek back home. I land in Houston. I get picked up by my buddy. Thanks, buddy.
On the scooter?
No, I asked him to, but he brought a car. Dude, I'm a street guy. I'm a street guy at heart, man. So I got to be on 2 wheels. 4 wheels just feels unsafe. No, but he picks me up. Thanks, Ronnie. And I get to my house, and you know what's the craziest part is we were making jokes on the way to the house of like, yo, how funny would it be if, you know, like you had water, like water. I don't know. For some reason it was funny at the time. Like, oh yeah, that'd be so hilarious. I open the front door and the lights are on, which is weird. And then there's just, you know, water all over my floor. There's water. I hear water dripping. And I'm just like, you know, and I start walking in, just like not even knowing what I'm gonna see. I pass the laundry room first. It's completely covered in mold and stuff, and the sheetrock is soaking wet. And I'm like, all right, that's not good. But I hear more stuff that way, so I keep walking. The ceiling had come down, like in the kitchen and stuff. Like half the ceiling had caved in. Same thing in the bathroom. Like the ceiling was coming in. There was water all over the floor, everywhere. And so, yeah, I guess while I was in Indonesia or Australia, one of those two, a pipe in my attic decided it was time to let go, and so it had just been spraying water for they said probably like 7 days before I got home, and yeah, just completely.
And nobody,
wrecked
like,
it.
you never got noticed? Like, have you gotten your water bill yet?
No, I haven't got the water bill yet, so I don't know what that's gonna be. But I just got a power bill that was like $250. I don't know where the hell that came from.
Like a hot water heater just running. You got hot water.
Yeah, must have. Dude, don't even give me. There's a lot of things I haven't thought about yet, and that was one of them. So yeah,
I thought about the water bill. Dude, this guy, he was at my house last week, and he's like, dude, the water company just called me and said that my water bill's through the roof. It's like my sprinklers have been on since I left.
Oh, dude.
No. So we've been like, dude, my grass is, I got tough grass, man. Like
it must be looking prime right now.
You would think, but dude, it's tough grass. Like it just needs water, right? And so we finally got it because I was running a manual, and you're not gonna do that when you travel. So my girlfriend got it set up. Well, it turns out we got a little lavish with the water, and it was running. It must have been running in the morning and night every single day. So I got a call from my city, and they're like, hey, just calling to let you know that you guys are using a substantial amount of water. And I was like, yeah, like what? And he's like, well, you're using like it seems like a couple of times, like it's 1,000 gallons an hour. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, what? and I'm like, well, how much more is that than usual? He goes, well, like your bill's like nearly $300. And I was like, what?
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, I'll get somebody to shut that up. And they're like, yeah, we drove by because we thought maybe your house was flooded. And I was like,
hey, that's nice of
That's
them to
super nice,
check
right?
in. Like,
I know.
I don't know how many gallons that were just flowing through my walls, and nobody had, nobody from my
surprised, like,
water
you didn't have,
company
like-
drove by.
that's crazy.
Bro, you don't have like cameras in your house or nothing? Like no Ring camera
Well,
inside?
none that are like,
Never mind. We won't get back on the subject
Oh
of cameras.
my.
In your
Yeah, no, I got there's a couple. I got the Ring doorbell, so don't be go messing with my house, bro. And then I got one in the garage to protect the valuables, but nothing on
That's
the
it.
nothing on the
Oh,
inside.
now you have to get one of those like little dog things so you can set up.
No, that's creepy, dude.
For you when you leave your house and know if it's getting smoked by
Yeah,
one.
all right, but I mean, well, I have a friend that has one of those dog things, and he doesn't unplug it when he's there. I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna hack into that thing and just be watching you. Like, I don't know.
we
That
have, we
stuff
have one
freaks
at
me
our
out,
house that
man.
like spits out the trees and stuff, but
Yeah,
she unplugs it every time
that's what I'm saying.
Home,
Yeah, that's
Don't want me
smart. No, my
spying.
buddy doesn't unplug it. He just
I don't know
leaves
what she's up to at home.
He just leaves it. He leaves it. Just
Hold
plugged
on,
in.
what happens if you unplugged it when she's
Oh,
not
dude,
home?
oh my god,
World War III.
done.
So anyway, I'll have to get one. But I mean, again, I don't know.
That's brutal, dude.
Have you lived in Texas your whole life?
No, dude, I'm
He's from Oregon.
I'm of the world. Like I've lived everywhere. I can't remember the exact number, but since I was born, I think I've lived in close to 30 houses.
What?
Yeah, in all different parts of the. So
Why?
I was born in Oregon. Damn it, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, no, I'm not really Texan. I'm not like a true-blooded Texan. I was born in Oregon. So anyway,
Damn,
that's
you're
out of the
It's all
bag
right,
now.
all the people from Oregon are moving to Texas now anyway. So
True,
that's fine.
true. So I was born in Oregon, but I've lived in California, Texas, Alabama, Florida. Now I've lived in Andorra. I lived in Spain for a second. I've lived where else?
We're at 8. This guy said 30.
Well, I know I've lived in a lot of. Dude, in Texas alone, I lived in 10 houses.
10.
What?
Yeah.
Keep leaving the water on or what?
No, I think it was 10. It might have been more than 10. No, I was just my dad was always like, he works in the car business, and my dad's worked for BMW for the majority of his life.
I know. I remember
What?
that.
Yeah,
back in the day
yeah.
in
So
Alabama.
it's like funny, it is full circle, man. So he's worked at BMW dealerships like most of his life, most of my life since I've been around. So there's that connection, which is pretty funny. But because of that, he was getting like promoted or moved around the country, and so that's kind of why we moved around so much. But it was good for me preparing myself for like what I'm doing now, because I'm a free spirit. So I'm open to going everywhere, living everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I can integrate pretty well.
That's sick. I think a lot of people probably have a misconception because you think like World Superbike, like you made it. Like you're one of the top dudes in the world. Like you got this glamorous life. You're flying first class. You probably got like a
There's some
doorman at your
people like
house.
that.
Yeah, but I think this is, it's not really the case, is it?
It's tough. Like, yeah, there's pauses for sure. No, I'm like, I feel super blessed to be able to do what I do and to have raced here in America, racing over there now, like for sure. I try to remind myself all the time, like, don't take this for granted. Like, this is gonna be a short time in your life, like make sure you are living in the moment. You're like really taking in what you're doing and where you are. No, I mean, I don't need any of the luxuries, let's say, to enjoy it, to have fun. Like, dude, I love what I do. I love being on two wheels, as you guys know. Like, I love seeing the world. I love meeting new people. So, I mean, that's where it's at for me. It's like, I mean, one of the reasons why I went to World Superbike in the first place was just because, man, I just want to live an adventure. Like, I just want to see how crazy the adventure can get. I just want to see, like,
How crazy is it? How crazy
I mean,
has
it's gotten a lot wilder than I thought it would. As far like not wilder, but I didn't think that I'd be where I am. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, but that's one of those things. Like, you never know where you can go. Like, don't put limits on yourself, because you just never know where you might end up. Like, you just gotta have the dream and follow the process, and you never know.
What's it like traveling the world? And like, are you the type guy that like goes to the track, you land on a couple days before and go to the track and like to and from, or do you do you go out in the city? Like, do you go to the places? Do you try to enjoy going to some of these places?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. No, I'll land. Sometimes I'll land a couple days early, and I'll go check out whatever city I flew into, and I try to. like I said, like, dude, this could end at any second, like any second. I mean, I know riders that have gotten hurt, they can't race anymore. There's that aspect to it. There's the possibility of not having a ride the next year. Like, so I really try to like experience as much as I can while I have this opportunity, because like I know one day I'm for sure gonna be working for my brother at his car his car workshop, like, you know, just doing mechanic stuff or something like that. So yeah, I'm trying to take it in. So I don't want to be so myopic that I just don't. Yeah, I you know, it's not all about racing. Life's not all about racing, and that's one of the things that I've been learning. And yeah, it's a fun part of life, but there's more to it.
Do you think that, I mean, I've known you since, I don't know, we were talking about it yesterday. You're only a year younger than me, so probably all the way back to like
Maybe
12 years old, 11 years old.
Year and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
Year and a half,
and
yeah.
4 months. Yeah. But like a long time, you know what I mean? And you were a bit quiet kind of growing up, and seems like the last couple of years you've really come out of your shell a little bit more and have made like an effort to. Was there a reason behind that, or just like you kind of matured a bit, or
you've been watching Bam Bam videos?
Watching Bam Bam.
No, dude, yeah, it's fun. I've known you since I was 12, something like that. I've known you since I was 16 at least. Like
New Jersey,
New Jersey, man.
This is the second guy that I've been in first race.
I know,
right?
Who's
New
the other one?
Jersey? Joe Roberts.
You gotta
First
pass
600.
Jimmy if you want to see if you can make it. You know?
Yeah.
What?
He's like the keeper of the guard.
That's funny.
It is what. That's hilarious.
He's like 37 out there, and they got like 16-year-old kids
Just
in the
smoking
Twins
a
Cup
dart,
class.
just smoking a dart on the front straight. Like, all right, kid, let's see what you got.
Yeah, so we got some history and stuff, but no, homeschooling ruined me, dude, for
Really?
like, the majority
You said
of my
that,
life.
yeah.
No, I was the weirdest. I can't believe you don't remember me being
No, I
the
remember.
most weird kid
No, I
when I was
remember.
12.
I do.
I was-
I wasn't
remember.
talking to you, James.
I
Like,
remember.
But I was always a bit quiet too, and it's something that I learned like as you get older. Just even to be successful, you have to kind of have a personality of some sort, and at least be able to be articulate. You know.
Yeah, no, there's like nothing changed. It's just that like I realized, or not realized, it's just I just got over my being just weird as a homeschooler, you know, like, but like we had to homeschool. Like I don't hold anything against my parents. We had to homeschool because that was the only way to keep racing, basically. And like I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to keep moving forward in my racing and succeed, you know, ideally. And so that was the only way we were gonna be able to do it. But it did ruin me, dude. I don't know. I missed out on. I started homeschooling in 6th grade, 7th grade.
Wow.
And yeah.
So you didn't go to prom?
No, dude. No, I
You
missed
didn't get to do
prom
any of
and
that?
all,
Did you go to
all that
prom?
stuff.
You didn't
Yeah,
either,
yeah,
did
no,
you?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, you did.
oh yeah.
Yeah. What kind of cameras did you have at that point?
They didn't have cameras back
Bro, I
then.
had a
dude.
Nokia,
They had the
dude.
Kodak.
Oh,
that you had to,
that's true.
You had to
Yeah.
wind it up.
Well, dude, I'm not that old.
You don't look old, but he told me you're really old. Dude.
What?
Yeah.
It's the moisturizer. I got on that Kiehl's. Is it Kiehl's? What
Yeah,
is
it's
it, dude?
Kiehl's.
I'm just like firing it.
Just trying to rejuvenate.
Oh man, what were we talking about?
We were talking about
Yeah,
just opening up though, like, you know, for sure that's something that's been cool to see. And I think the video thing you're doing, like, I know people. I said to you, like, some of my buddies who just stumbled across it on YouTube were like, wow, this is sick, and like he's a funny dude. You know,
Really?
like that's and even like the last 24 hours just hanging out with you definitely like. It's, you know, you're fun to be around, and like, you know, before you're definitely a lot more reserved. Now you just say
It's
shit
working.
that's like coming out. You know what I mean? You're not holding yourself
Yeah,
back.
no,
think.
I mean, like, it's just, this has like always been my personality. I think I just like was just awkward, like getting to know somebody, but like just getting past that first barrier of like meeting somebody and then being yourself kind of thing. I don't know, it just took me a while. So.
I feel like racing does that as well. I mean, we're so like focused, and I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, like you're going for it. Like when you turn pro, like it's game time, and I think it's really tough to like separate it, like especially when you got all the chips on the line. You know,
Yeah, I
like-
mean, that's the thing. And it's like, you know, I was a 15, 14-year-old kid. I knew how much my parents were sacrificing for me to do this. And it was right around 2008. So when all the shit hit the fan
Yeah.
in the economy and stuff. And like, you know, there was stress around what we were doing. We were spending a lot of money, you know, going in credit cards and whatnot. And so, yeah, there was like some pressure around actually making this work, you know, from myself, not from my parents and
Yeah.
stuff. It was like from within that, like, damn it, I want to make sure that this happens so that it wasn't just a huge waste of time and money for my parents. And so, like, yeah, I was definitely focused. I didn't want to screw up and not have it happen. And so there was that part of it. And yeah, so like the rest of it kind of fell to the wayside, basically.
Which is fine though. Like here you are today. I mean, it is kind of cool though to see you, like, especially with the technology and like being so accessible, like YouTube and whatnot, and to like see the. I mean, I told him like we threw up the Phillip Island one on the TV, and it was a sick video, and it's cool to see like you introduce your crew and stuff like that, and to see a different personality. Like people just see until now like. They just see like on track stuff. They don't see the humanization of people and like behind the helmet. And, you know, like I really believe like I think Bam does a really good job of just like kind of going so far the other way that it's okay to be in the middle, you know?
Yeah. I really like Bam Bam's videos. Like I think they're hilarious. Most of them.
The dirty one was amazing.
Yeah, that was so good, dude.
Was good.
I was like, gosh, I'm such an idiot. Like if I would have come up with that, like back when I was going through all the shit I was going through, you know, like it would have been, it might have like actually lessened the blow a bit, you know, but yeah, I want to highlight the people that are in my life, you know, like that's one of the things I'd like to use the YouTube stuff for, is because, I mean, dude, I might be the one that has the channel and the one that's out there and stuff, but there's so many people that go into me being where I'm at, whether it's my team, my family, my friends and stuff. Like, yeah, no man's an island, and you gotta have the support system around you, and you gotta like, dude, there's no way to succeed. There's no way to like end up where you want to end up without having people help you along the way. So yeah, it's not just me out there, it's everybody.
Yeah. Going back to when you were younger, so it was you and your brother Grayson, right?
Yeah.
Just you two, no other siblings. You guys both raced growing up though, right? You came from more like motocross.
Yeah. So like, dude, I was begging my dad to get me a PW50 when I was 3, because I went to a motocross track with him, and he was you know, I saw some other kid out there that had a little bike, and I just didn't even know that was a thing. So I was like, no way, please get me one of these. And for my 4th birthday, he got me a PW50. And like then my brother started riding and stuff too, and so yeah, we were doing the motocross stuff, but it was just like weekend warrior type stuff. It wasn't for anything serious. It wasn't for racing. I had no interest in racing, dude. Like I almost didn't have interest in riding either. Like I just like going out there with my dad and my brother and hanging out as a family and stuff. And then we were living in Texas at the time. We moved from Texas to Alabama, and we were living 20 minutes from Barber Motorsports Park. I'm gonna answer the question, but I gotta get there first.
Cool.
So my dad's dealership that he was working for, a BMW dealership, they were sponsoring the AMA races that were out there. And my dad was looking to get out of motocross at the time because he just kept hurting himself. Like, and his body just didn't seem like it could take motocross anymore. So we went to a race, and it was a good time, but I didn't know my dad had already set up to buy one of the race bikes from one of the teams, and I can't remember what team it was, but it was a Suzuki. And so we came back from the races. My dad had a bike, had leathers, had the whole setup, and I don't know if my mom knew about it. So I mean, there might have been a little fiasco when we got home, but then there was these like little Metrokit bikes that like the small wheel ones, 72cc. Yeah, same. Eventually, I'm getting there. And my brother got one because he was like really interested in the road racing side. But this was right when I was like, no way, dude, I'm about to be a motocross guy. Like for sure, I got this. I'm gonna make it.
What bike were you on in motocross?
At the time, I had like a Honda 250. But basically, like I was
2-stroke or 4-stroke?
4-stroke. So, but I had gone from like, dude, I must have hit puberty and was like, no, I want to fight somebody. Like I was just like, I want to win. You know, it was like that. It was that change. Like it was. And so, but instead of going motocross, like I ended up finally riding my brother's Metrokit. I ended up crashing into in a parking lot. I had a massive high side, dude, a huge high side. Wow. I can't believe I was fine, but I rode it, and I was just thinking, man, this is pretty freaking cool. And so I ended up getting a Metrokit too, sold all the dirt bike stuff, and went down that path. But yeah, it was me and my brother. Getting back to it, it was me and my brother. We were both riding and racing. And I owe a lot to my brother because, like I said earlier, you know, right when I got to 600s and stuff is when the financial crisis was happening and money was getting tight. And my brother, he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep racing, but he kind of was like, I'll stop racing so that you can keep racing kind of thing. And yeah, I owe him a lot just for that opportunity to keep trying, to keep going.
Yeah, that's
So-
cool. I remember I don't think you probably don't even know this, but I used to stay at their house. Like when I tried out for the Rebel Rookie Cup, I like stayed with them for.
Yeah, that's
I
why
was
he
like,
knows
wow.
how weird I was. I don't know why he's
I have a terrible memory too, but
Dude.
I don't think I do remember. Like I was closer with Grayson a bit. Like he was
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
more outgoing and like a little
yeah,
bit crazy
at that time.
at that
100%.
age.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
I didn't
stayed-
know
I
that.
stayed at
That's
their house a
crazy.
bunch. Yeah, you weren't old enough to try out for the Rookies Cup, but
No.
I was, and so I did the whole tryout, and then ended up getting picked, and then we tested down there. So like I spent a ton of time. I think my parents just left me down there. They're just
Yeah,
like, go live with
yeah.
these guys down.
I just remember going to the tryouts and wishing I could ride.
Yeah.
But I
How
couldn't.
old were you? You were.
I think that it was
You were
13.
12 because I was 13.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
13 was what you had to be to try out. I was 12, and
Already won a
other-
championship.
What?
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
That's
just
when
saying
he
how
won his
old-
first championship as a pro. Yeah.
I'm joking.
So, but all I remember from watching the tryouts is, dude, there was the Red Bull coolers everywhere. I think I must have had 10 Red Bulls, and I was, dude, my soul, I was floating above my body watching you guys ride. Like I
You sure
don't
that
know
was
how
Red
I didn't
Bull?
have a heart
You
attack.
sure that was Red Bull?
Yeah.
And then, but I remember you were supposed to try out the next year.
Yeah.
And you did, right? But then
No, I
you
never
didn't-
did.
You never
No,
did?
no, it was I can't remember why I didn't try out, but no, I never tried out, and I guess luckily because because that would have totally changed my whole career path.
Well, it got canceled anyway, but I thought you had gone down and like did it, and then we were supposed to do it, but they canceled it, and so it was like over with. But
Yeah, that's okay. That's why it didn't happen because they did
Yeah.
cancel it. But no,
Yeah.
I never ended up trying out. But yeah,
And then
I
you,
remember watching it. And then after that, you kind of went the USG PRU and Milwaukee's, and
and then you did the Indy MotoGP wild card or whatever that race. Not a wild card. It was on G.
it was
Yeah.
USG
weekend at
PRU.
Indy.
Yeah.
it was they had a Milwaukee
Yeah,
Cup.
and then you
yeah,
were on pole, right?
yeah, that was good. I was on pole. I won both races.
What year
Got
was
me
that?
nowhere.
What year was it?
It's 20 2010 2010 because I was 14 but I was riding a 600. That was I did the full We Are National series on a 600 when I was 14, which everybody thought we were crazy because I mean like
We're
it wasn't-
nationals back in the day. It was tough too.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was, yeah.
like-
Benny Solis was there with the
Yeah.
whole Graves truck.
I know,
Like,
I
they-
remember
and, And they
that.
had the
I remember that,
Weira.
too.
They
Dude,
had
it was
the
insane.
yeah. So there was a full Graves truck just for Benny for 600 riding or 600
I
racing,
gotta
and then
tell
they
you,
had
man,
the
I
Weira
was
Endurance.
so jealous, dude. I was a
Yeah, me
peanut
too.
butter
Me
and
too.
jelly, dude. Seeing that, I remember him
He
at
had the carpets. He had the Graves
dude.
carpets
I
with
was
the logos
so
on it.
pissed.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Benito. I was so bummed, man, when he rolled out because it was at Rolling Road when they first went out, and I wadded my Suzuki. Like wadded. I had that Pirelli 2 before it was good, and I just high-sided it.
Oh,
I was like
man.
running fourth, and I was like, holy crap. I'm like, he was like Trey Beatty and
Yeah.
like some old
Trey
dogs.
Beatty.
Yeah,
Oh, there's so
like,
many names I
I
hadn't heard in so
know.
long. What the heck?
right? But I remember wadding it, and I remember Benny just rolling around, and I'm like, fuck, like, dude, this guy.
He was so
I'm like,
fast back
like,
then,
dude,
too,
and he
for
would like.
sure.
I remember him. He used. I can't believe I remember this like yesterday. You like roll around and like I'm like, what? I don't even remember what the lap time was, but he was like 100 seconds off the pace, and I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. And then he just rips through on one lap, and he was like, boom. I was like, whoa.
That's
I just need to get my shit together.
That's one of those things though. It's like it's crazy looking back and just seeing how different people's because Benny was fast. You know what I mean? Like
Still
it's,
is,
but it's just
probably.
crazy how it's just like how different opportunities present themselves and how it just steers people's lives in one way or another. And like I never would have thought, and I'm sure a lot of people never would have thought that I would go to ride 600s for Graves or to go to Superbike or to go to World Championship. Like I don't know. I
don't know, man. Like when you showed up at New Jersey,
I
mean,
was like destined to
yeah, you were in. I mean, your first race you won and got second, right?
I mean,
Right? Like that was the
yeah,
was
but
the
I guess
weekend,
I
but,
never
like,
thought it would happen.
Yeah.
So I just
I mean,
that's
I
how
was.
it always
I'm not
is.
gonna
I think a
lie
little
though, I
bit,
was
you know.
jealous then too. I was like, this
Yeah.
fucking guy. He's
No,
got
that-
now. He's got the YES bikes.
yeah. No, that was we had that one bike, dude,
I was
for
like,
that year.
I was like,
But that
you
was
mother.
it was cool. Like going back to 2010 when I was 14, I had like a Suzuki 600 that was a good bike for sure. Like I think we had the engine built from the M4 shop in Alabama and stuff. Like it wasn't a bad bike at
Yeah.
all, but it was a cool lesson that I learned that because I was showing up to the Grave semi and Benny there, and you know he was the guy. He was the one that was supposed to smoke everybody. He was there just. He was supposed to be there just as like warm up for AMA and whatnot. And my dad always told me like it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Like don't look at that and don't let it
Discourage you.
don't let it discourage you. Don't think that he's better than you just because of what's around him. Like do never think that. And like, dude, I've taken that lesson from me my whole life. And like that year I ended up winning one of the championships against Benny and stuff, you know, and like I owe my dad a lot because he said a lot of stuff back in the day that I didn't realize how important it was to hear that at the time, and it kind of pissed me off also because I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, you don't see like all the stuff he has. You don't see all his support. Like, are you dumb, Dad?" But like the stuff that like taking that away from it, like that's something I really owe my dad for, and it helped me a lot. Like when I went to World Superbike and I was on the satellite team and stuff. I mean, dude, there's all those guys that have so much support from all the factories and you know, we made it work that year, and yeah, it's just I owe my dad a lot for that lesson.
Yeah. What was it like kind of being, I don't know that there's anybody else since you that's been kind of hand groomed like through a chain like you were through Graves, right? Like, cause they kind of picked you as an amateur and then kind of groomed you all the way up to
kind of the last
Superbike.
one, really.
Yeah. What was that kind of like and working with those guys and having that opportunity? Obviously, like you were envious of Benny for a while there, and then you kind of, I guess, I don't really actually even know what ever happened with him and them, but I know things kind of went sideways and you kind of stepped in, right?
I don't really remember how it worked either to where that, yeah, it's because to where I stepped into the Grave side, but the New Jersey thing helped a lot too, because I wasn't gonna be in Daytona Sportbike the next year in 2012.
Yeah, which is the equivalent to Supersport now.
Yeah, sorry, there's a lot of nomenclature, but I wasn't supposed to be that guy, and then after Jersey, it was like, all right, maybe we will have you be that guy. But it was like I think it was one of those things like I never imagined myself being the guy, let's say. And so when New Jersey went really well and they decided to sign me for the next year, like, dude, I wasn't even 16 yet, but it was just like I just put a lot of pressure on my shoulders and stuff. And I owe Graves a lot too, because there was a few years where, dude, I didn't do anything, and but they stayed behind me, and like
you know what's so crazy is you say that, and from the outside in, like as a kid racing against you, it was like, oh, dude, you were destined. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like from the outside looking in, it was like there was no way they were not gonna let you. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird how in your shoes, the way you say that in 11, like, oh yeah, I wasn't supposed to be the guy to go up a Daytona Sportbike, but like when I was racing you, looking at it, I was like I want that seat, but it was like you can't get it. It was yours. So it's kind of interesting the way you say it and how you felt, but how my perception racing you was like, dude, it was from the outside in, it was like a given you were getting it. So that's crazy to hear.
Yeah, I guess it's just self-perception kind of thing. I you know, you never know until it happens or
100%.
doesn't happen, you know. But that's I just like I said, like as mentally though, like I was like, oh, I just never saw myself as getting that shot. But when I did, because I had never seen myself getting it, like, dude, I had put so much pressure on my shoulders, and like I've been bad about this since I was a kid. Like I got a quick story to tell you guys. So I'm not a stick and ball sports guy whatsoever, but there was this one time when we were living in Alabama that I decided I wanted to try to play baseball, and I showed up to tryouts, and I was thinking like, dude, I'm the man. Like I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make the tryouts. Like that was my mindset, you know. And like they put me up to bat and stuff to see how good I was as a batter and whatnot. I hit every single ball that came my way. Like it was easy. Everything was easy, but I had this good mindset. And then whenever they decided to choose me, I was like, holy shit, I can't play baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, no, wait a second, I can't play baseball. This is a mistake. And then I took that mindset through that whole baseball season. Guess how many balls I hit at plate? You know, like when I went up to plate, how many balls do you think I hit?
I'm just gonna throw it out there with a 0.
Close. I hit one ball that I don't know how many games we played, but so I ended up being first at bat at the beginning of the season to last at bat at the end. But like that's like a mindset thing that you know I've struggled with that to be like sometimes like, all right, I can do it, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, no, I can't do it. Like, yay, stop, So that's just that was something that happened to me at Graves too, and
Really?
I had 2 really shitty years because I was in my head saying like, dude, you don't belong here. Like, what are you doing here?
What do you think changed? Like, what broke you out of that? I know, like, were you working with Chris Lessing back then?
Yeah, I was working with Chris Lessing, suspension and stuff.
Yeah.
What's funny? Well, I ended up kind of getting through it on my own a little bit, but not like massive steps forward. But you had a book on the table earlier, the Mind Gym.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
the Mind Gym book, I swear, helped me a lot. And Keaton Hendrickson, who was my mechanic at Graves, gave me that book, and he like gave it to me, looked in my eyes, and like, you can do this. Read this book, and you will win, kind of thing. Like,
All right, Yoda.
and it was like, yeah, I know, it's a bit like that. But that, having him look me in the eyes and say like, you can do this, and like, dude, I made it. That made a big difference. So I shout out to my boy Keaton. It's
Just a little self-belief. Have you taken that into all of your travels? I mean, the jump's got to be huge going from America to Europe. I know it was huge for me. So just a different environment, the bike and whatever. That's all whatever. But
Yeah,
just
what was that like to make that? Like, obviously we've seen Cam, like, he kind of stayed here when he probably could have had maybe or may not have had other opportunities to go, even like World Superbike, but to kind of leave a sure thing, I guess, if you will, to go over there. What how did you kind of decide to? Obviously you already kind of said you wanted to go out and travel and explore, but
Yeah, it's a good question. So in the beginning of 2017 was when in my head I said, I want to race in a world championship. Like, I want to be over there. I want to try to. It was just this idea. Like, how far can I go? It's how far can I go? Because you just never know until you propose the question and then put yourself on the path to see. And so in 2017, I knew I wanted to keep moving forward and race in a world championship. Like, that was like my highest dream. And so I started saving as much money as I could in 2017. I started just putting money in savings, because I knew that when I went over there, I wasn't going to make any money. Like, I knew it was going to be a given that it was, I wasn't going to make anything. I was going to have to pay for stuff. So I started setting myself up. I started paying off all the debts that I had, to the best of my ability. Started saving money. Because I knew that's what I was going to have to do financially to be able to take any opportunity I could get. And so that was 2017. 2018, I moved up to Superbike, which was awesome, but it wasn't the best year for me. And so, I still had the dream though. I knew where I wanted to go, and made a decent amount of progress through that year and over the off season. And 2019 was didn't start off very strong, but I knew where I wanted to go. I knew it. But I knew I couldn't push anything until I got results. Like, I knew that I couldn't go to Yamaha. I couldn't go to anybody and say like, I want to be here, because I didn't have any results to back it up. And so there was, so we went to, basically I had been getting podiums and stuff, but I wasn't winning. And, Cameron and Tony, they were the guys, they were the ones that were always pulling away, winning and stuff. And I'd gotten close a couple of times, but I had never won. And then when I finally did win at Laguna, they were there, like World Superbike was there and Yamaha guys were there. And I finally had that one result to back up the ask for the opportunity. You know what I mean? And so I like went over to the guys, the Yamaha Europe guys, and like Keith McCarty brought me over, and I told him I'd really like to be there one day racing a World Superbike, and they took note of it, but there was nothing. I didn't expect anything to happen, but I was just like, I just want to make you guys aware that I want to be here, and what was the question?
What do you mean? Keep going. So what happened?
Yeah,
So how did you get the call?
Yeah, so I didn't. But I just let those guys know I want to be there. But then I started winning races. Like, I won at Sonoma. I won at Pittsburgh one time or a couple of times. Like, I started getting results, and it was like one of those like belief things. Also, it's like it was this huge hurdle to finally win, and then once I won, it was like, I know I can do it, and it's just that
snowball.
And snowball. And so, and then it was so much easier to win. Like, you know what I mean? And so I started winning more, and I started making up points in the championship to Tony and Cameron and stuff. And I kept telling like Tom Halverson and Keith like I want to go there, I want to go there, and then they finally presented me with a contract to keep racing in America, and I just asked Tom who gave me the contract. I was like, I don't know what to do yet. Like I want to go to Europe. Like I appreciate the contract, but like I want to go race in Europe. Can you give me some time to figure out what to do? And this is when I had been talking to Ben Spies a little bit and Josh Hayes, that both had connections that were kind of asking around and stuff, but like, again, I couldn't do any of that until I started getting results. Yeah. So they had been putting feelers out there and whatnot. And I decided like, you know what, I'm just going to go to Magny-Cours because I was running out of time. Like I either needed to sign the contract to stay in America or I needed to have something else because it was going to be one or the other, but I didn't have anything else. So I bought a flight to go to Magny-Cours to go see the Yamaha Europe guys just to like one last opportunity. Like, hey, if, I'm here, like, I'm not in America. Like I'm here. I want it. If you guys have space, like, do you have anywhere you can put me kind of thing? Like, I try not to be desperate, but there was a desperate vibe a little bit. And it was crazy because I had gone into that flight and gone into that weekend thinking that I had a contract because I had been told a little bit like, hey, you're going to get a contract from Tenkate, and which is one of the reasons why I was going over there in the first. I made the flight before there was any promise, but then when I made the flight, it was like, hey, you might have a chance to ride for Tenkate, and I left the weekend haven't signed a contract for GRT, but like the whole from Thursday to Sunday when I signed that GRT contract, it was. Dude, a huge just roller coaster
did they
of
know?
Emotions. What's that I was coming?
No, but like, so how did that, like you had no idea you were going to sign for them?
Dude, I don't know how it happened. Like, that's the thing. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Yeah, not really, but like it was, I didn't know how it happened behind the scenes and stuff, but I went over there thinking it was possibly going to be a 10K, and then I showed up 10K, didn't know why I was there, so it was like, so then it was like after Thursday it's like, all right, well, that was what I thought was going to happen, but it's not. And then Andrea Dossely was like appreciated the fact that I was there, and also, well, he appreciated the fact that I was there, so he was like, just let me just talk a little bit, like, and so that was like something I didn't expect to hear. And then
who is he?
Andrea Dossely is like the racing manager for Europe. So
Yamaha.
Yeah, it's like Keith McCarty's role, but in Europe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like it was Friday, there was nothing. Saturday, nothing. Sunday morning, there might be something. Huh. And then by the time it got down,
did you get like a text like, "Hey, we want to meet with you," or was it just like, "Here's a contract"?
No, it was. There was contact between. Like I had been talking to them through the whole, but there was just a whole lot of radio silence until finally it was like, all right.
So you say Ben Spies. I mean, in the media a little bit, it's kind of feels like he was looking after you a bit. Was he talking with them specifically on your behalf, or were you doing?
No, he was definitely talking to Andrea, saying like, hey, give this kid a shot, kind of thing.
Because he's been in your corner for a while.
Yeah, well, I didn't know him forever. I just sent him like an Instagram message or something that was like, hey,
slid in his DMs.
I don't know, it wasn't that. I got his number. I can't remember where I got his number from, but no, I reached out to him and was like, hey, I really want to go to. I got it from Cambodia, but I was like, hey, I really want to go to Europe. Is there any advice you could give me? And then it kind of went from there. But no, I really like, I owe him a lot too for having, because he was saying, I mean, it wasn't like he was just saying it. After I started getting results, he was like, hey man, you're doing really good. Like, I think you can make it over there. And so that helped push things a lot too, because he wasn't just saying stuff. From what I understood, he actually believed I could go over there and do it. Mm-hmm. So. And
when you were over there, did you talk with him like frequently? Like, was he helping you in your corner, or was it kind of just?
Yeah, it seemed like he was like really involved in the beginning, and then like obviously like the last few years, you haven't really seen him at all over there. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, he was. He helped me a lot get to where I was, and I think he was available to help me and stuff. But no, it was more separate than I think people imagine.
Yeah, it seemed like he was like, like you were his protege all of a sudden or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was more separate than people imagine.
That's
but like
fine.
I really owe him a lot for even
Yeah.
being able to go over there and stuff. But that was one of the things after I signed and stuff, because I was just like, dude, what is happening? You know, like what is happening? I had
Did you
talked
even
to,
negotiate it?
No. It was no negotiation. It was just like, hey, like, can you guys please give me a chance? Like, you know, just 1 year, like, just give me a chance. And like, you know, there was like no pay. Luckily, I had saved money up and stuff, so I could take the opportunity. But one of the things that I want to say is like, after I signed, Andrea was like, I like you, but for two reasons. One, that you bought a flight and came over here and you were here. You came over here. You had your shoulders back. You came over here knowing what you wanted, and like he appreciated that attitude. He appreciated that mindset, and also he like had it in his mind. I don't know if you guys remember Laguna Seca, but I was freaking out after I won, and I was kind of a psychopath going around the track like with my helmet off, you know, yelling at people and stuff like you know, just amped, and he remembered that. And he was like, I like that guy for that, you know, because I could see he was passionate about what he does kind of thing. So it was, it's just funny because you never know the small things you do in life that can help steer your path one way or another. So it's just like, you know, always be aware of what you're doing. And
Dude, that's
it's just crazy stuff like that. Yeah. So
when you made that call, obviously, like, you don't have to be exact, but you were making quite a bit of money in America. I would assume like win bonuses and things like that to go from that to basically riding for free. Like that was for you, it was just a no-brainer. That was what you wanted, and you were willing to do that no matter what, even if you went back to the US.
No, 100%. Like along this path from like 2017, when I knew I wanted to go race in GP, I had also made this other I had like told myself, like, you know, in my heart, I was like, there was a couple things. One, I knew I wanted to have kids one day, and I never wanted to look my kids in the eye and tell them that I was too scared to take an opportunity or to take a chance on myself. You know what I mean? Like, because how am I supposed to tell my kids, like, you can do anything, believe in yourself, if I hadn't done the same thing? You know what I mean? Kind of like walk the walk. And so so that had been going through my mind. And then also, you know, I just wanted to live. I just want to live the craziest story. Like, I think at the end of the day, like the story that you have that is your life, I just want it to be interesting. I want it to be a story that people want to hear. I want it to be, you know, I like I said, I'm just living. I'm not thinking about this all the time. But like, I just want to, like, if something,
if they were to go like this, boom, Garrett Gerloff, you want it to be somebody. Like,
I want it to be something worth. I want it
sick.
to be something that's worth reading. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be, and you know, I saw my dad every day busting his ass, just working himself to the bone, to support us as a family. You know, like he was always gone. He was always working, like, to make enough money so that we could live a good life, kind of thing. But, and I'm forever grateful for that. But I saw him sacrifice his life. You know what I mean? Like, he had no life. It was just that. And I just saw that, and I just didn't want that. That's an honor. That's definitely honorable. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the highest. That's the highest you can go as a father, as a, you know, the leader of your family. But I just wanted to do more before that point in my life. You know what I mean?
He gave
like,
you that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
For
but like,
you to do.
Yeah, but I just wanted to. I wanted to live the story, try to see how far I can go before I got to that point in my life where it was time to put my head down and you know, like, sacrifice myself for my family, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And so seeing him made me really push for that.
What like when you came back to the US and were like, sorry guys, I'm leaving, were they bummed here? Was like, I would imagine Chuck Graves was probably stoked you're going to Europe, but also probably a little bit bummed because he had kind of invested in you for a while, right?
No, they were happy to see me. They knew, like, I had been talking about, like, man, I really want to try to do this, and they knew I was passionate about it, and I think they were stoked that I got the opportunity. I don't think there was any animosity or anything like that. It was like,
That's super cool.
I was like, you know, it was, hey, we're so happy you have the opportunity because we know how bad you wanted it, and so that's really the only vibe that I had. And I was happy too that I was able to give Jake Gagne, who it ended up being, I was happy to give him the opportunity to, to jump into that spot and to have his chance to, ride that bike and work with that team and stuff. I didn't want to, I knew it was time for me to move forward.
Going from the American Yamaha to the European Yamaha, was it much different?
Yeah. Oh my, dude, it was completely different. Oh my
Really?
gosh, yes.
Because it's same electronics or no?
Like, no. Like, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, so I don't know who's gonna watch this. But look, this is the truth. The bike that Cameron and I were riding in 2019 and 2018 was like a 500 compared to how refined and how nice the electronics were on the R1 over here. Oh, sorry. And Cameron said the same thing when he went to attack, and they like had a. I'm gonna mess up the numbers and stuff, but basically we were running a really old version of Morelli, with like, I don't know, like real like old software, but for certain reasons that they had, I can't remember why, but it did not work good at all. But I didn't know at the time because I was in the US bike. I didn't know at the time because it was I was coming from 600. I just thought that was just how it was. But then I went to Europe, and it was night and day. It was the nicest bike I'd ever ridden. It was just so easy. It was so smooth. It was so easy to ride compared to the American R1. It's hard to explain how much better it was, but it was so much better. I couldn't believe I had been riding the USA bike at all, and that we had actually been winning. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Because we couldn't even use first gear in America. It was second through sixth, and in World Superbike, it's first through sixth. They use all 6 gears, and there was no way that first gear was rideable on our bike. Like, the wheelie control was in the US. The wheelie control was horrible. So it was just pogo in. Like, you just couldn't use first gear. The TC and stuff was definitely not as refined, and yeah, it was crazy.
Huh. Did you think when you left and Jake, it took Jake a year, I guess, right, to kind of get going to where he's at, but did you ever think that was possible for Jake?
Well, because he raced did Jake race Cameron the one first year?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I knew it was gonna be tough for Jake because I knew Cameron was obviously really strong, and Tony was really strong. I mean, that field in Schultz, there was a lot of guys that were putting up good fights and stuff, so I knew it wasn't gonna be easy, but dude, that team at the time was one of the best teams, and the people that worked there, they were good at what they did and stuff, and then it went to attack in 2020. It went to attack. They're the ones that took over everything, and I mean, yeah, from what Cameron said, it was just night and day, so much better, and he was ripping that year for sure.
Yeah.
With everything. So,
but to see like Jake's kind of level now, like, is that surprising to you? I guess is the question. Like, is it?
No.
Did you see it going to that level with him on the Yamaha?
That's. I mean, it goes back to one of those things. It's like, man, if you get opportunities, like if you go into it with the right mindset, you'll blow people away. Like, that's it. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't think. I don't think. I mean, there's people that have, that are born with just like special abilities, but I have this belief that anybody can do anything. Like, you just have to have the amount of hours of like intentional practice behind it to get to that level. But I think, I mean, minus some debilitating thing. I'm pretty sure, like, if you practice enough and you intentionally and whatnot, I'm pretty sure you can do a lot.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things. Yeah.
So what was the hardest thing going from the American bike to the European bike, and then counter that, what was the hardest thing learning World Superbike?
The hardest thing going to World Superbike was the level was a lot higher, but also like the tires were so much better than I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but the tires were insane. I mean, where those guys were braking going into corners was blowing my mind. And like in America, I could only use one finger to brake on the Superbike, because if I started using 2 fingers to brake and the brake pressure that went along with that, I was locking the front up. Like, it just couldn't handle it. And then I
use 4. So.
Oh, do you? Oh my gosh.
This guy's like Cal Crutchlow on the Honda.
I got on his bike this morning to go do laps and stuff. Yeah.
Couldn't reach it.
I went and did laps on his bike this morning, and the brake lever was miles from the bar, dude. I was
Daddy's
like,
hands.
dude, I was touching it with just like that, and I was, how the hell is anybody riding this? I put it on the closest that I could, but I couldn't believe how late they were braking, and I went over there, same style, only using one finger to brake, and I just couldn't get the brake pressure high enough compared to those guys, and so I had to like retrain myself to use 2 fingers in the hard braking zones to brake enough, to
What kind of brake pressure have you like? Because were you like, how much brake pressure are we talking about? Like, did you see it in bar?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, so I'll just say that. But I'm pretty sure, like in America, it was around like 10, 11, something like that, and like in World Superbike, it's up to like 16, 17, 18.
Wow.
So I mean,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think? Did you? Ever,
well, I didn't trust it. Like, dude, how was I?
Did you ever get to see like top racks? Like.
Yeah, that's like, I think 18 is like it's his max. I think mine was like 16, something like that.
Crazy.
But
That's a
like I
lot.
said, I could be getting those numbers wrong.
No.
But it was quite a bit higher. That's all
Yeah.
I know. And but like, how are you supposed to trust it? Because you've been riding your whole life on these tires that don't seem like they can handle it. Then you go over there and like just to go blind into the braking zone and grab the brake harder than you've ever grabbed it before, and to not expect it to go over the bars or just to tuck the front right away
For 20 laps.
Yeah, and dude, it's insane what, like, especially Top Rack. He is like one of the most impressive riders I've ever watched, and his ability to brake, dude, 10, 20, 30 meters later than everybody else, but still get the bike stopped, in that time, and to hit the within an inch every lap. Like, it's
that's what's crazy.
freaking impressive. And
I can't imagine watching it, like being able to focus when you're riding around him.
Well, it's you think he's going wide, like you think there's no way he's gonna make the corner, there's no way he's gonna stop, and then it's just right on.
I mean,
right
he
on
never
cue.
loses the front.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like from 2020, I think, the end of 2020 to all of 2021, up until I can't remember where. No, all of 2022. Also, I'm pretty sure he didn't crash one time that was his fault. Every time he crashed, it was because of either somebody else or because of a mechanical. But he didn't crash a single time in like 2 years on his own.
That's crazy.
That's insane for how fast he was going. Like,
Whenever
that's
you use so
ridiculous.
much brake pressure that like the front tire contact patch is just bigger.
Yeah, dude,
So he
it's
just
a
doesn't touch the
pancake at
front.
that point. Like, I mean, you got
crazy.
5 inches on the ground.
Well,
so
dude, it's like, it's insane because he's always got the rear up. You wouldn't think he'd be able to slow it down.
yeah. No, trust me. I've been scratching my head for 3 years.
Like,
so.
were you able to look at his data?
Yeah. I had
Was it miles different than yours, or
No,
just the braking
data's
zones?
the most. I understand data. It's not like I don't understand it. Like, I understand looking at the lines and stuff, but the lines don't tell the whole story, kind of thing, because it's just not. It's and also there's just caveats to data basically, and so nothing would make sense. And luckily enough, we had Nico Canepa that was doing video and stuff all from 2020 until 2022 when I was at Yamaha. And so I had all the video to look at, and I had the data to look at. What I would see on the data would not necessarily match up at all with what I would see on video. So like, it was just really confusing to know, like, where am I supposed to put my attention? Like what's right, what I'm seeing or what's over here. So it's kind of weird.
When your bikes, it's cool you're able to look at his data and stuff. How much different were your bikes versus what those guys are on the I guess the factory team?
Yeah. So contractually, I was supposed to have the same stuff as in 2021. I was supposed to have the same stuff as the factory team, and I believe I did. I know for a fact that wasn't the same in 2022 after everything. So that was a bummer, to say the least. But I didn't know that until a set of circumstances that happened throughout 2022. But yeah, it was supposed to be the same.
And I know something that's kind of like a tough subject for you a little bit, something you kind of had to work to kind of get past, and you're still trying to put behind you a little bit. But what was that whole year like? 2022, just mentally.
21.
Sorry,
Dude,
21.
21 was hell on earth, bro. Yeah, it wasn't good. No, it wasn't good at all. The whole it didn't start at Assen, let's say. It started
for those people that don't know, just like
yeah.
the whole you having some issues with just getting in positions and having situations that really, you're just pushing, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing there, and just had a bad outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask you guys first. I mean, you guys know me. This might bite me in the ass. I don't know. I don't know. But from y'all's opinion, I mean, was I a dangerous rider? Basically,
like an Assen?
No. I'm saying like you guys have known me for a long time. Like I've raced in MotoAmerica for a long time. I've raced against you guys. In y'all's opinion, did I ever stand out as somebody that was like out of control or a dangerous rider or et cetera, et cetera?
No, I think
honestly,
like, when you went over to World Superbike, I think there was like a new level of aggression that like you kind of showed in a good way, though. I mean, you have to be, right, to like
yeah,
be
you had to.
You gotta be
that was
aggressive,
dude.
man.
I got my ass kicked. Those first the majority of that first year in 2020. I mean, every lap. I mean, at the time, MotoAmerica was it was the race starts. You settle in, you do half the race, and then you kind of start getting more aggressive. Where it's like over there, they know the race is won or lost. It's like the mentality is the race is won or lost in the first 2 laps. And so it was like and that's when I would lose all my positions, like in the beginning of 2020, like it was it was eat or starve basically.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I'll get back to that. But what 2021?
Like what was the start of it?
Yeah, so like I said, I had never been in any controversy. Like I had never, to the best of my knowledge, I had never really made contact or taken out anybody in my entire career. So I just didn't ever. Well, I just didn't see myself as that kind of rider and stuff. There's a lot of 2021. There was a lot of things going on besides just that, but like if we want to go through the whole thing, the end of 2020 was really good. Like, dude, I went from, it was crazy. Like I look back on it, it was like the most insane year of my entire life. I go to Europe. I qualified 17th in my first race. There was only 18 guys. And I finished like 16th. So it was like, all right, this is a good start, and then we have this like once in a lifetime pandemic, epidemic, whatever it is that happens, and all of racing, the whole world stops. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep racing. I don't even know if that's a job that's going to exist in, the next couple months. And, I end up getting a job at a auto workshop and stuff. Like, I'm like, all right, this is my new life. So I was like,
you're actually working like at home.
No, I was working for a friend of a friend's at an auto shop. Cause I was like, I'm just going to prepare myself now for what I'm going to have to keep doing in the future. So
just changing tires.
So I just, changing oil, changing brake pads and stuff. That scared me a bit. I was like, ooh, somebody's really putting faith in me. But anyway, so I was doing that.
This guy over there today just adjusting his gear lever, like
like a pro is what you meant to say, like a pro. So anyway, so then it's like, all right, everything's gonna keep going, but so we end up going back to Europe, and like just was making progress, but not like it was slow, and it wasn't very obvious. But on the sheets, like I said, we were closing the gap to the win, and my fastest lap time of the weekend to the fastest lap time of the weekend was closing in, but the results weren't changing a whole lot. And then it got a podium, then got more podiums, and it was like just
the rise.
Yeah. And then I got to ride Rossi's bike at the end of the year. It was like, holy shit, dude, what the hell is going on? Like, where does this come from?
Dude, and you crushed it, by the way.
It was a crazy, dude. It was
that's Valencia, right?
Yeah, it's Valencia.
Dude,
yeah.
I remember. I could not believe that. I mean, I don't want to go there quite yet, but we have to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure we can. So 2020 was just as good as it gets. Basically, it was, you couldn't get any higher. It was just like, shoot me now, basically. But there was there was a lot of talk of like, this guy's gonna be the guy. Like, this guy, he's coming. He's gonna be the guy that for Yamaha is gonna, along with Toprak, that's gonna, make it happen. And that was really nice, for sure. That was nice to hear. But like, I had a bit of pressure on my shoulders because I was like, all right. But I wanted it. Like, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be that guy. And I was fired up, man. I was fired up. I was going to show him I was that guy. And at the time too, for reasons I don't really want to get into, but I had been struggling in 2021 with just just feeling like inadequate. Like I just didn't feel like I was good enough. In a lot of different areas, whether it was not, I don't know about racing really. It was just, I just didn't feel good enough. Anyway, it's just something that was in my head, but I knew like I was, but I knew I could be the guy kind of, the not feeling good enough was like a different part of my life. It wasn't really racing, but in the racing side, I was like, I know I can do this. I know I can be the guy. I know I can prove to everybody that I'm the guy kind of thing. So I had a chip on my shoulder, and, we went to the first race at Aragon, and I didn't have the best qualifying, and I was not happy about that. Weather got crazy. It was like half wet, half dry. First race wasn't fantastic. I was like, and I was annoyed because I was like, I'm the guy, because like I'd been hearing this, I was believing it. Next race on Sunday, same conditions, crazy conditions. But I finished third, and I was like, all right, yeah, that's all right. This feels.
I'm back.
It's like one of those things where like you never. After I'd been getting like my last three race weekends in 2020, I was on the podium. So it was like, all right, this is where I need to be. And so when I was back on the podium, I was like, all right, cool, ready for race 2 because I'm starting on the front row. And again, crazy conditions, half wet, half dry. And I was in second place in race 2 and just was behind Johnny Ray. And he broke just a bit earlier than I had, than the previous lap when I was behind Alex Lowe's. He had broke just a bit farther. So anyway, I just kind of was like on the gas and just didn't expect him to brake when he did, and then jumped to the brake. And like I said, sketchy conditions. Like I was braking as hard as I thought I could, but I didn't want to tuck the front either, and just couldn't slow down, and had to dive to the inside on the real wet part of the track and tuck the front, obviously, because it was going to happen. Yeah. But it was like not a pass I was trying to make. It was unintentional, and luckily he didn't go down. But obviously that wasn't like, it wasn't great. But I didn't, it was just like it was a racing incident. It was a racing incident. And I got on the independent podium, so I was there. I was like, "Hey, man, like, dude, I'm really sorry. Like, I wasn't trying to pass you. Like, I made a mistake. It was that."
How do you take it?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
I thought he was all right.
No,
yeah.
for sure. He was
cool.
like, he was cool.
Yeah,
no worries. Then we go to the next weekend, and it's Portugal. I got fourth in the first race, fourth in the Super Pole race, so not bad. But I was like, the last year I'd gotten 2 podiums there, so it was like, it just didn't feel good enough, kind of thing, So like that, just not, just didn't feel good enough. And but like going into the last race, I was like, just get a good start, just settle in, kind of thing. And so I wasn't pushing over my head. I was just like, get a good start, don't lose any positions, settle in. That was my mindset. Go across the finish line after the first lap. I'm in 4th place. We go to break for turn 5, and because I had that mindset of like, just settle in, I had a lot lower initial pressure going into turn 5, and then had to squeeze the brake harder because I didn't have that initial dive, And when I did that, I had the rear lift up on me later into the corner than I had, previously on any other lap I'd done. And I had more lean angle at the time because it was deeper into the braking area turning in. Things stepped out a decent amount, and then I was releasing the brake. It set down and kicked me so freaking hard, dude. And I just immediately lost control. I couldn't get it back. And Rinaldi was right in front of me, and it was just instant. Like I just got a massive tank slapper, couldn't stop. I end up hitting him in the back, and we both go down. And I'm like rolling through the gravel, like, dude, what just happened? Like, what the heck? And there was still a bit of controversy from the first one with Johnny the weekend before, because it was back-to-back race weekend. So like there was a bit of controversy, but not a lot. Like I'd actually received some nice messages like, hey, that was good sportsmanship to go and say you're sorry and stuff like that. But then, Rinaldi was not happy at all. And like I wasn't either, because I was looking forward to having a good race and stuff. Obviously I didn't mean to, like it wasn't my intention for anything to happen. And yeah, I just went south, and it was just a lot of, dude, I got a lot of messages and stuff that weren't the nicest, but it's like, all right,
regroup.
I didn't mean to, you know? And there was some talk about me, whatever, being a dangerous rider and not
really
not
from
being
just 2.
from two. Well, they
Wow.
were back to back. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It was back to back. It had
Yeah.
just happened. 7 days
Timing.
later, it happened again. And
So
so,
it's
that
timing.
was bad deal. Like
Yeah.
if there was more time in between it,
Yeah, it
it's
would have been an
different.
issue.
So, so a couple weekends go by, no incidents. I'm not doing great, but I crashed in qualifying at Misano, didn't set a lap time, started from last. I crashed in Assen, didn't set a lap time, started from last. Like there was a couple times where I was just like I just wasn't performing. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't performing, and it was eating away. It was eating me alive because I knew I could.
Yeah.
And so at Aston, I went from last place to 5th in race 1, and I was pumped on it, like because I made it through a lot of guys. In the Super Pole race, because I was having to start from last. So in the Super Pole race, it was a shorter race. I couldn't get up as far. I started from 8th, but going into that last race, I was like, my times have been really good. Like I had race winning pace. And so I was like, the last race of the weekend, put it all out there, go have a good weekend, go finish the weekend on a high note kind of thing. And so the race starts, I get the best start of my entire life. I've never had a start so good. I passed the whole, no jump start, passed the whole second row within the first 50 feet of the start. Like I'm gone. It was like a 2.6 second start or something ridiculous. It was the best start Yamaha had ever seen. And so then I am like closing in on the front row and just go to brake. But like, dude, I'd go to brake where everybody else brakes. I didn't like brake any later than anybody else, but I was next to Top Rack. Top Rack stops that bike so freaking good. Like, dude, so good. And he did that, and he stops better than anybody else. I couldn't stop at his rate. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like I was just next to him.
Yeah.
And then then he starts turning in, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to stop any faster than you. And I turn in too, and like, dude, we end up touching, but I'm not talking. It's not a touch. It's like a freaking, dude. I feel a bit of pressure on my leg, but it's the softest nudge ever. Yeah. But I feel the nudge, and I kind of look over because the whole time I'm going like, oh shit. And then I see and hear him crash, and I like look over my shoulder because I'm like, what the hell is happening? Dude, my mind snapped at that moment. I was like, all at once, it was like, who am I? I am not this guy. Like, I am not this rider. What the fuck is happening? Like, dude, I was not. My whole world shattered. Like in that moment, that was Yamaha's guy. He was leading the championship at the time. I hadn't been performing. And then, like, it was just all at once. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
I just had no words, man. I ended up crashing out of that race because I was so spun out. I was spun out, man.
Yeah.
Like, bad.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. It's hard. Like I worked with a mental guy, mental coach kind of guy, and he said, like, one of the biggest things that you have to figure out how to work through is, like, when you have, like, a self-belief, but things that happen kind of contradict that. Like, working through that. And that sounds like kind of what was happening there. Like, inside, you're not that guy, but things that are going on around you are like opposite of what you feel.
Screaming that you are that guy.
Yeah,
you know what
so
I mean?
It's like you don't even know.
And then people
what to
are
do.
piling pressure on that you are that guy. And it's like,
it's like as soon as it happened, I immediately knew all the repercussions that were gonna follow. Immediately, like as soon as it happened. And dude,
did that happen?
Yeah, 100%. And it just dude, I was so spun out, man. And I didn't mean to. Like, dude, I didn't mean for any of it. Like, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit that you didn't mean to. You did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no. It's time to get. It's
people
time for
like-
the stoning. You know what it's like.
Yeah, well, it's so crazy. Like any of the stuff that happens, like even the Marquez thing. Yeah, Marquez. A couple weeks ago that was pretty gnarly. But like,
he didn't mean to.
nobody ever
He
means
did-
to. It's
no.
like you're out there.
And if you look, he locks the front.
Yeah, he did lock the front before it happened. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean,
Yeah. So, but I said this stuff in the beginning because after looking back, all of 2021 after that was just awful, man.
so
Like,
did they
dude,
take
it was,
parts off your bike and stuff? Or
No,
like,
no, I'm not saying like as far
Oh.
as that, but like I definitely got sat down, and I understand. Like that's the thing. I don't hold it against anybody. I understand, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm not dumb. I
Yeah.
understand the situation I put them in. Like, that's the first time they've been leading the championship in I don't know how many years. Like it was looking like everything had been lost in that one moment. I knew I knew, like I said,
Did,
I understood it all, and I felt an immense amount of guilt through all of it. Like, dude, so much. Like, if Top Rack wouldn't have won that championship, oh my gosh.
Do you did you talk to Top Rack afterwards?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of respect for Top Rack, a ton of respect. He was not happy in the moment. 100%. Again, I understand. Like, dude, I know what the situation I put everybody in, but he's the most humble guy. And like at the next race at Most, he came to me because I was freaking. I was being a weak boy. I was just like, I just didn't want to face anybody. I just wanted to freaking, dude, I just want to go die somewhere alone. Like, that was it. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't even look in the mirror, dude. I just couldn't even see myself because that's not who I am. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And, but he came to me and was like, hey man, it sucks that happened, but it's all good. I made sure not to mention you or tag you in my Instagram post that I did, saying that I had crashed and stuff. And he that's true. And, yeah, dude, he didn't hold it against me at all. And like that's, dude, the nicest thing he could have done. Like, I appreciate his forgiveness level. But yeah, it was tough. Because obviously there was a lot of, World Superbike at Dorna. Obviously that can't happen again. Like, you've already taken 3 people out. Like, dude, you can't have this happen again. I understood that, but like, how are you supposed to race like that?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to not do something you're not trying to do anyway?
Yeah, like, dude, exactly. So it was like, dude, I had no faith in myself as a rider. Every time I was out there, it was just like, who am I gonna hit this time? Because, like you said, I didn't see myself that way, but the whole world and all the situation was, you are that guy.
It's like you were framed by somebody that.
Yeah. It felt like, it was like, this isn't my life, dude. It just felt like a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. It was just so, it was just wouldn't end. And like, I feel so bad because, like, I was working with my crew chief at the time, Les Pearson, and dude, he was doing a killer job. I went from nowhere to podiums in the first year. Like, he was doing a killer job, and I was doing halfway decent in 21 too, until shit hit the fan. But like, it gave Yamaha an excuse to fire him and to move, somebody else in who was a good guy, a nice guy. But like, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to keep my crew chief and stuff. But for logistics and whatnot, it was better for them to have another Italian guy. But like, if I wouldn't have had all that stuff happen, and I would have kept having results, like, that wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have had any ground to make that happen and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it's
a bummer.
It was just a shit show. And like, it still sucks, like, for sure. I mean, it still sucks.
What was that conversation like with them? Like, was that kind of for you? You kind of knew it was starting to be the end of the road with Yamaha at that point, or did it take a little bit longer for you?
No,
to
that's the thing too.
Was it with
weekend?
Was it with Andrea?
Yeah, the weekend before, or 2 weekends before, I had just signed an extension. So like, things, and I had just gotten a podium at Donington. So like, I got a podium at Donington. They gave me an extension contract. The next weekend,
Top Rack,
basically.
So what was that conversation like after that?
With
Andrea, was it you
myself?
Well, no, with Andrea. What did you just say, dude? You got to chill out. We can't have this.
Yeah, I mean, he was as calm as I would have expected him to be, and like I said, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And but no, I mean, he wasn't happy. Nobody was happy. And we got to move forward.
Of course.
But this is not good.
Yeah.
And
those conversations are difficult, man. They're always going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think anybody could really imagine, like, being in that situation and then having to dig yourself out of it.
It was just
it was
especially like and you're in Europe. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, when I was in Europe and just even in England, you do something. It's like, do the time difference. You don't have your boys there. You don't have your family. I mean,
that was hard. I was over there by myself, man.
It's me versus me. Like, it's what it literally. It's you looking in the mirror every time, and you got friends that you're like an arm's distance the whole time. So you're, who are you supposed to trust?
Yeah, that's the thing, and it just felt like the entire world just hated me, wanted me to die. Basically, I got a lot of. Can't tell you how many messages I got saying like, go home, like, you deserve to die. So it's like just shit like that. Like, it was not good. Like, and again, it's just like, it's not. it's not like saying it to your face and stuff, but it still sucks to
still
hear.
feel it?
Like, yeah, it
100%.
freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Social media is tough like that.
Yeah, and like obviously you just take away the negativity more than the positivity. But, God, what was I gonna say? What did you say? There's a couple things I want to talk about.
Just ultimately, like, was that kind of the beginning of the end, I guess, with Yamaha from there on out?
Oh, okay. No, I like, not to me. No, I don't think for them either. But yeah, it wasn't a good situation. And like I said, like, dude, if he wouldn't have won that championship, I would have carried that guilt with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And like, I knew how bad he wanted it. He was doing it for his dad that passed away when he was a kid. You know, like, I knew the backstory, and like, if he wouldn't have won that championship, dude, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
But I basically, like, at the end of 21, I was like, dude, I just wanted to quit. Like, I was over it. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Because I didn't even know who I was as a racer at that point. Like, it was just.
So you go back home? Were you feeling
Yeah.
like that when you went back home?
Yeah, I went back home and stuff, and there's a couple things I want to say. It was so like, after looking back at it, I think there was a couple things going on, but the Yamaha wasn't the fastest bike. So in order to stay with the group, you had to take risks on the brakes, for one thing. Because otherwise you were going to get left, basically. And Toprak's so good, has so much bike control and so good, he can make it happen almost better than anybody. And so I was taking risks on the brakes, but I felt confident doing it because the bike could handle it, kind of thing. And I saw Toprak doing it all the time. So there was that aspect. There was the aspect of me not feeling good enough from things in the beginning of the year that I needed to prove to people that I was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
There was that part. So those two things combined, and it just got me in some bad situations and stuff. But yeah, it was just the sequence of events and how quickly they happened in succession. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
But-
crazy to go from such a high to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like riding in MotoGP, you know, on Valentino's bike, to your entire world feeling like it crumbles around you,
Yeah.
like within 6 months.
So what was that like when you rode? You got to fill in for Valentino, and I mean, I remember watching that first session and watching you, like, in the rain, or it was like the wet. It was like a
Yeah, it was in
mixed
the
condi-
rain in the beginning,
dude, and I was
then-
like, holy shit, like Gerloff is
nuts.
fucking ripping on one of these, and I think everybody was like, dude, like, he could maybe go. Like, what? Like, how did this happen?
yeah.
Like, how did you, jump on one and MotoGP bike, and everyone says the tires are so crazy to try to learn, and you just, like, you got it. What was that? Was that just the
It's a
high of that year?
Close your eyes, man. You can go.
Was that it?
No,
Did you go into that weekend like, this is my only shot, or did you just go into it like, it
Yeah.
was like,
I thought so, for sure. Real quick, just so it doesn't end on me, like, I've gotten past the stuff that happened, like, I've left that behind me for the most part. It's so, like, I'm not still dwelling on 2021. Like, that's in the past. Everything worked out in the end, and I'm not the same rider that I was then. And I feel, for one thing, I feel really good on the BMW. It's nice having power to be able to take a draft on the straightaway and pass on the straightaway before you even get to the braking area. That's something that's nice. But anyway, it's the likelihood of it happening again is high, but
of course.
like, it's just one of those things. It's racing. You can't control everything. And the more you try to control everything, the worse it's going to be. So, yeah, I'm not thinking about it anymore. Like, it's not
Yeah.
something that haunts me like it did in 21. Like, it
Did
ruined.
you have to that off season? Like, how did you get past some of that? I mean, we've had a couple guys on here, and it seems like this conversation keeps coming up that, there's a lot more struggles in racing than people know about mentally. And
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, how did you get
It's-
through that in 2021? That off
Yeah.
season going into 22, get through that. You said you came off and you feel like you want to crawl under a rock. I mean, you got a whole off
Worse than
season,
that,
and you
dude.
just well, I mean, you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
extended your contract with Yamaha. You got to face everybody the final, the next year. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you get through it?
Yeah, it's just a lot of soul searching, kind of like, hey, why am I doing this? And it was like, all right, I got to figure out why I'm doing this, because I hate it right now. I hated going to the track. I hated seeing everybody in the paddock, because I just felt like everybody was just hated me, dude. And but, like, it's just I'm so happy and thankful I got my family and my close friend group, because like that's what got me through it. It's like at the end of the day, like they're the only ones that matter opinion wise for the most part. Like what everybody else thinks, it's like I was homeschooled, dude. I didn't go through high school. I didn't go through all this, BS in high school about people talking shit about you and like all the drama and you being involved in controversy and whatnot. Like, dude, my whole career has been pretty non-controversial, I would say. And so, and then I get hit with the publicity and everything of like
on a global scale.
So there's that part of it too. Like I had never been in the middle of any controversy, and nothing so public that it was just like out there to everybody. Yeah, exactly, basically. And so yeah, it was like there was a ton of shock factor behind it of like, oh my gosh, this is how bad it can get, and it's not even that bad considering like all the other stuff that even higher end people go through. Like but you're just like naive to it,
Well, when racing is your whole life, it's like that is your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, I got an awesome group of friends. I got an awesome family. They helped me get through it and stuff. And
anything specific that you did? They just like, did you get away from the bike, or did you just?
Yeah, I got away from it all, and just was with them. Did some soul searching. Tried to, I got some like trust back in myself. Like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Like, I have some evidence, to the contrary. But like, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm a good rider. But you just have to say it a million times before you start to believe it again, kind of thing. So it's just that, nothing specific really. Okay. I can't really pinpoint it to anything, but anyway.
Did it feel like this year going to the BMW is that kind of almost like shutting a last chapter?
Yeah, of that whole thing? I would say for sure. Yeah, there was like it was nice to move on, and it was nothing against my team that I had, GRT, but it was nice to have new faces and stuff. Kind of just more separation, basically.
And you've been with Yamaha for how many years?
Dude, it was 11 years I was with Yamaha.
I mean, that's a career in itself.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, speaking of that, the Rossi thing, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we want to go back to it.
Yeah. No, so that was crazy.
What
just
was it like
FP1?
Yeah, I mean, that, and then like, I mean, you're in his box. So like,
trust me.
You got the dogs behind you, like...
I was terrified. I was shaking, dude. It was like I had 30 espressos. Like, dude, it was so bad. But I mean, I just even getting the text, I wasn't even the first guy on the list. Like, I was like the 5th guy on the list of who was gonna ride the bike, because they had test riders. They had they were looking at Top Rack way more than they were looking at me. But he had a sponsor issue. I think it was the Red Bull Monster thing. Like, he couldn't get on the bike and stuff. And like, Crutchlow didn't want to do it, I think. Lorenzo was one of the guys that they were thinking about bringing back into racing, but then that didn't work out. And there was somebody else. Oh, my Koden Ozane, my teammate from 22, that he was gonna ride the bike, but then he couldn't come because of COVID from Japan to. Wow. Like, dude, just talk about all the stars aligning to where like I wasn't even the first guy on the list, but I ended up being the guy on the bike. And I
mean, you made the most of that.
I tried. Like I said, I was terrified. Like, I was doing my best to be like stable mentally and stuff, but yeah, it's all the guys that Rossi works with that you see on TV constantly, that he's worked with his whole career. It's his bike, his number, the dogs on the wall, like it's all of it. And I'm just some idiot kid like that has never even won a MotoAmerica Superbike Championship. Like, no, everybody was like, who the hell is that? Yeah. Everybody, that was the whole thing, is like, who is this guy and why does he have this opportunity? Like, nobody. Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing for sure. and yeah, I got lucky because it was wet tires. And I didn't know at the time, I do now. But the wet tires definitely make the bike feel more like a normal bike, like a super bike in that direction. And then when I finally did use the slicks, like, it was a bit different, but it wasn't as big as I thought it'd be, because it was still, everybody's tiptoeing around. It's half wet, half dry. I didn't realize until Assen 2021 that the bikes are completely different from rain setting to dry setting with the dry tires. Like, it's night and day. Sorry, excuse me. And but yeah, so I was basically like in that second session, the one you're talking about, when I got up to 5th for a second, which is insane. Everybody thinks I finished that session in 5th because that's just what they remember, but I finished in like 16th or something. Like, I went way down.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to 5th? What?" I was the same. I went across. I saw the board P5. I was like, "No way." I was cheesing.
And I mean, it's his pip board too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's his pip
I
board.
know, dude.
Yeah.
The doctor.
No,
dude.
it was like, dude, what is happening? And but it was
What an
so freaking cool.
experience.
But I in that session, and I come into the box, and I see Rossi standing there like to greet me as I come in.
You were like, no.
And then I was like, oh, it's Rossi, dude. Like, no way. Like, oh, hey. And then I was like, oh, no, what's he doing here? You know, like, I was like, because they ended up taking the bike away from me, which I didn't think they could do in the rules, but, you know, he makes the rules. So
Yeah.
they ended up giving the bike back to him to race Saturday and Sunday. His bike blew up and everybody blamed me. His bike blew up in the race and everybody blamed me for it.
Did they?
Yeah. Not the team, but everybody online. They were like, Garrett ruined his bike.
Riding in the wet.
Yeah. But no, it was just
What's it like?
circumstances, dude.
Like, was his crew cool to you? Was
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
cool?
Yeah, everybody was cool, but
Was there anything like you couldn't do? Like,
They
or were
wouldn't really change anything.
Yeah, so they just said ride it.
Which, yeah, but because they thought nobody knew if he was coming back or not. So they're like, no, we're not about to like make this bike completely different. And then he
like
comes back.
Ergo and everything.
Yeah. I mean, like, she changed bars and stuff, but I sat on it and I was like,
Hey,
it feels good to me. Like, all right. But they wouldn't change anything else. And, but I mean, I didn't need it to change really. It was just, there was a couple comfort things that would have been nice, but, yeah, it was a pretty insane bike. You feel the money, like it's these bikes are expensive, but then you get on those bikes and you're like,
And it's
all right,
factory,
I
too.
see where the money goes. Like, yeah.
And what was it like with like seamless gearbox and like
Yeah.
things of that nature? Like people like
Insane.
us, like we can't even comprehend the stuff like that. I mean, like what's that like of just
It's
like
just-
rolling out a pit lane,
Yeah.
the highest level on a factory motorcycle,
Oh,
and looking around and then going like,
That
oh,
was
yeah.
the thing too. Is like, the entire paddock was outside his box. So like me getting on, like, dude, you have no. I was gonna throw up at any second. Like, you have no idea the nerves around me. Like, there was every TV channel was there. Every photographer in the entire pits was there to get video and pictures of me getting
you
on the
on
bike
his
and
bike.
taking off.
Yeah.
The nerves I had to not stall the bike. I think I had the bike at like 10 and like, dude, I had to have been revving the bike at like 10 grand just to make sure that I wasn't going to stall it in front of everybody. Like, yeah, you know, so, yeah. And then going out, everybody was standing outside their boxes to like watch me go out, just because it was just so weird that it was weird to everybody that I was on the bike. Like, it was weird to me too, trust me, but everybody was like there to watch, and it was making it so much worse because it was just like, no, nobody watch, like, nobody look at me, like, you know, just let me go figure this out. But the seamless gearbox, it just feels like one gear, and the sound changes a little bit, but it doesn't feel like the gear ever shifts. But you're going faster. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's seamless for a reason, you know. The carbon brakes, those were scary, like, especially because I had to use them in the rain for the first time. So it wasn't even like but they use the carbon brakes in the rain. So I go into turn 2, that tight left-hander. I'd never been to Valencia either, so I was like, I had to learn the.
What?
No, I'd never been to Valencia. That's why everybody's like, why the hell why did you get this kid out there? He's never been to the track. He's never ridden a MotoGP bike. He just got to Europe this year. Like, dude, who is this guy? What are you doing? And
P5 motherfucker.
yeah.
P5 bitches.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was a little bit. It was nice looking back at it, you know. But I go into turn 2 on that first lap. I almost go just completely like, dude, the brakes did not work. I was squeezing the brake in as hard as I could, and it was just nothing until, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lock the front up. Like, that quick it changed, because they get hot slow, you know. And so that was
So
weird.
after you got that warm, are they hot? Do they work now?
Yeah. Then they stay like that. But if I would have like stopped for a while, then they probably would have.
So is that why they do, like, they're constantly?
Yeah,
They're trying
yeah.
to put heat in the front brakes.
Yeah, just so they don't, like, dude, run into the back of somebody in that first corner, that first braking zone, basically. Like,
That's
yeah.
insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So it was a cool experience, man. I owe them a lot.
Did
for
anything
that
come up out
opportunity.
of that? Like, did some other teams call you
Yeah,
and whatnot?
yeah. I was like, that was another. So there was a lot of stuff that happened in 21, but it was looking like I was gonna sign with a GP team in 21. To be honest.
Can you tell us? Who?
No, I can't. But it was looking like it might happen, and
Was
and
it
then
a good GP team?
no, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like. No, it wasn't. It
Like a
wasn't like
B-level.
it's
It was a
not.
B-level
It's
team.
B-level, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I was like stoked on the opportunity, and then I took out Top Rack and radio silence, dude.
Really?
Yeah, That sucks, man.
Whoa.
It freaking hurts bad. That's where I wanted to go. Obviously, I want to go to MotoGP. That's where I.
People probably don't even realize that, but that's like obviously your whole life goal is
Yeah,
to
so-
do that.
so-
have that gone in itself is like heartbreaking.
Yeah, so literally, it was everything in my life just felt like it was crashing and burning like worse than ever. Anyway, so but that was like something else that happened because after the Valencia thing, there was a lot of teams that were interested, in maybe seeing what could happen. So that was cool. That was super cool.
But
Added to some pressure a little
literally
bit.
just dead in the water after the Top Rack thing, just
Well,
because
yeah,
of that.
well, yeah.
Did you
100%.
get like a text,
so crazy.
or you just knew?
No, it was just done.
Wow,
It was just there was no.
tough.
It was just done. No more
That's so
contact. So.
Huh. And the same since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any. That's the thing. Is back to like, dude, I haven't had any results to
Yeah.
justify it. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, and I did that Aston race in 21. That was before the Top Rack thing, and it was a really tough weekend, dude. And I struggled a lot with the bike and everything. I'd never been to that track either, so it was like I show up at the same.
Aston's tough.
Yeah, it's a
Especially
tough
on
track.
that, like you got to go through all
Dude,
those. Were
yeah.
you gassed?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, but the bike was the most violent bike I'd ever ridden. It was a 2019 M1, which apparently had that reputation. But every time I'd go to turn 6, that fast kink off the straightaway, dude, the bike would get into the worst head shakes I've ever felt. Like, I thought every lap I was going to high side my brains out in turn 6 and turn 12, like both of those. Because in the first sector, I was like 2/10 off of the fastest guy, roughly average. And in the last sector, I was like 3/10 off. So I was only losing half a second in 2 big sectors.
That's not mad. That's
Like
not,
they were both like almost like they were 25, 30-second sectors. So it wasn't bad. Like I felt good in those. But then I'd get to the places where I felt like I was gonna die because of these massive head shakes that we could not get rid of them. I was looking at data, trying to figure out if I needed to drag the rear brake, if I needed to drag the front brake, if I needed to drag both, if I needed to let off. Like I was looking at everybody else's data. They were all doing something different. They were all on the 21 bikes too, which were better. And so anyway, it was just like it was so freaking tough. And it wasn't a good weekend. But I beat Marini, so that was cool.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good right now.
yeah.
It's crazy when you look at that stuff, though. It's like,
Yeah. It's like it makes you wonder, kind of thing. I'm sure Cameron Bovier's got the same
yeah.
sentiment because he was like, right there with Marquez back in the day and stuff. But
Yeah.
so it's always that like what if kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he did.
Yeah,
he did.
I think fully, like, if you had the shot over there with enough time and a good enough bike, you'd be one of those guys. Like, I think everybody kind of knows your talent. I mean,
I'd hope so.
you've been on the podium World Superbike against guys who have been there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'd hope so. But I never want to be Uncle Rico just talking about like what I could throw a football over that mountain, dude. Like, I never want to be that, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold off on any comments. But I would have liked to. So
Well, I mean, you're still shot. You're still not that old, really. Not as old
dude,
as
I'm
Jimmy.
about to
right?
be. Yeah, I'm about to be 20. How old are you about to be?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean? dude?
How old are you gonna be?
What? How old are you? I'm like 29. No, I'll be
Yeah,
32
dude.
this year, dude.
No, I'll be 28. I'll be 28
Oh,
this
wow.
year. Like it's easy.
Wow, dude. I can see the wrinkles now, dude.
They're there. No, 28, man. It's gone by so fast. Like, because dude, time does go by faster the older you
Yeah.
get. 100%.
What do you think you've learned to kind of love about racing?
Yeah, I'd say I've learned to really appreciate the low moments because man, they make you appreciate the high moments so much more. Like if you don't have that contrast to compare how bad it can be to how good it can be, you really never appreciate how good it can be. And so it's good to have that contrast. And I mean, I don't know what I love about racing is just it's more of like it's just an opportunity to push myself to it's one of those like where can you go, where can you end up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the outlets for me to do that, like to just push myself and to try to see what's possible. So chasing that dragon is a good one. It's fun, and I like going fast. Yeah.
That's sick. What do you like going into the future? Looking ahead like the next 5 years. What's next for you? Like obviously you got this BMW thing. You've got another year on that. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? Like what's realistic? And then
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I mean, that's my priorities for sure have changed from what they were a couple years ago. I wanted to be in GP so bad, but like I accepted that door's closed. Like, but that's fine. Like I'm so happy with what I did get to do. Because a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of people that they can't say they got to ride a GP bike. So like, I'm glad I just even got that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad I got the opportunity. And, I'd like to be on a factory team. Nothing against the team that I'm on. It's like, dude, I have a great group of guys around me, and I really hope we can do well this year. But it's just that label of being on a factory team. Like that's one of the things. Like I had the opportunity to go to be where Locatelli's at. I didn't go that route because I was happy with the team that I was on and stuff, and also Yamaha was pushing for Locatelli to go, but like I didn't not have the opportunity.
So you could have went factory Yamaha.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, if I would have really pushed for it, yeah, probably. Not 100%, but like probably. But I didn't do it, and I regret it because it would have been nice to go to a factory team. But I loved the guys that I was with. I didn't want to leave them, and I had all this factory support, so it was like, what am I missing really? Mm-hmm. But it would have been nice to have done that, and so I'd like to be on a factory team if the cards line up. That'd be cool. But yeah, it's like I said, it's funny getting older and like you start to think about more things, and you're not just so focused on the racing part of it. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to keep racing. Obviously, like I still love racing, but I'd like to settle down at some point. Like I would like to have a family at some point, kind of thing. So you kind of have to think about.
Going on?
No, bro.
What?
No, man. No,
Come on.
I don't, man. I'm just.
Dude, are you kidding me with that freaking Instagram post? You know that thing's out there, dude. You know that thing's out there.
No, I'm chilling. I
How many females liked it?
Huh?
How many females
What do you
liked
think
it?
he's got the stats
I don't know.
on that thing or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
No,
come on.
no,
Do we get a number crunch on that?
They don't have the stats on that, but no, I mean, well, dude, I don't want anybody to like me for that. Like that's pretty low. Like I want somebody to like me for me. I'm not gonna
What's
be.
the point
I'm not
of
gonna
having
be
fucking 32 abs
I'm
on your
not-
stomach. Are you kidding me?
I'm not gonna be in
If I
good
had
shape
that
my
many
whole
abs, I'd
life.
fucking have that shit out all damn day.
You have the shirt off for the podcast.
All right, Liver King over there. No,
Comes
yeah,
full
dude,
circle.
it's pretty. That's low hanging bait, dude. I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be fat 100%. I want to be as fat as I can one day because
Me
I'm
too.
so-
I'm
I'm
trying.
dude. I'm so sick of being. I'm so sick of having to watch my diet all the time. Like I'm sick of that. So
Is it hard for you, would you get fat? I've never seen you fat.
I 100% I can be. Yeah. No, for sure. I've never been there, but I gain weight super quick.
Yeah, but
So,
you'd just be more yoked.
it'd go to fat for sure.
Dude, your
There's
dad is
limits.
still like yoked, isn't
You'd
he?
be
Yeah,
like- you'd be
but
like
he's like
4.
pre-diabetic, so he's been keto. Like he has to be super strict, otherwise he'll
Mm.
be diabetic basically. So he's got he would go off the deep end too, I think, but he can't, So anyway, it'd be nice to go off the deep
Yeah.
end one day.
Yeah. So no ladies, but you're thinking about settling down.
Well,
Just
it's
looking
just
for the
it's
one.
like it's something because like I'm getting old. I'm 28, man. That's not far from 30.
Pretty
like
old, yeah.
that's
Dude,
no,
chill out,
no, but
man.
I'm just saying like it's not
Fucking chill out.
something. No, it's not something I want to like just wake up one day and be like, oh, I should have thought of that earlier. Like I
Yeah.
should have thought that I want that earlier. Like it's just like I was preparing myself to race in Europe, like financially and stuff. Like I was putting money aside super early on, way before I got the opportunity. Like I'm just thinking about,
Good.
all right, where do I want to go and how can I prepare myself for that?
Do you think like a Texas girl or what?
I want it to be, yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
nice, dude. No, I've tried, I've gone down the European path and it's just not for me.
It's
Do
tough.
you speak
So-
Spanish?
Yeah.
You
I
do?
speak- Yeah, I speak.
Give us a
No
little
way.
something, Poppy.
Spanish.
Come on.
Huh?
Give us a little
¿Qué
something,
quieres que te diga, bro? What do you want me to say? Like, no, I speak
we
Spanish.
got some Spanish people in the audience out here.
Oh, that's true, man. Hey, what's up?
¿Qué pasó, papi?
Hey, ¿qué pasa, cabrón?
A lot of people probably don't realize that, but that's because
You
you, don't
speak
look like you
fluent?
speak
It's
Spanish.
fluent Spanish?
70%.
Wow.
Well, that's like when I got the Andorra residency, nobody spoke English. I got the residency in Spanish because that was the only way I could do it. So
When you
like
say residency, what do you mean? Like to be able to live there, you have to speak
yeah,
Spanish?
to get the green card, I guess, like to be able to live in Andorra.
Oh, so that's your resident. You have residency.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like I couldn't have gone through the process without speaking Spanish because the people that I had at my disposal to help me get the residency only spoke Spanish. So like if I didn't have that in my back pocket, I would have never gotten the
That's
residency.
insane.
Like,
You speak Spanish,
so
I wish.
I got a little bit of Italian. I got a little bit of French.
dude.
I got,
I'm still going, man. I'm 104 days, baby.
What is
Like,
it? What do you do? Babble?
No, dude, Duolingo. I just got the notification. Like,
Yeah,
yo, dude, get on this, 103
No,
day
it's cool,
streak.
man. No, it's cool. I mean, you just got to jump into it, trying to talk to somebody, and it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be weird. Like it was a big hurdle for me to get past, but like once you start talking to people, yeah, it just becomes easier to pick up on what they're saying. You get more vocabulary real quick, and it just like snowballs into like, okay, I know what's going on actually.
I feel like there was a point in time where you started to get an accent.
Everybody says I have an accent now. I don't know if you guys hear
No,
it,
but
but
like there
but
was like a
here
year or
is-
two in there where you started speaking
broken-
Spanglish.
The broken.
It's like you listen to some
Well,
interviews in
hey,
English and you'd be like,
no, it's
is this guy from Texas?
no,
anymore?
but
Is he-
it's so hard because like when I was with that Italian team, I had to speak a certain way so that they
Andiamo.
understood me. Yeah, andiamo. yeah. So like, so I had to speak. But then you like after you do it for 6 months, you go back home and everybody's like, "What happened to you?" Grazie. You know what I mean? You guys don't know what I mean. You
no,
know
but
what I mean.
I just remember hearing like it was like an interview or something. That's what it was like. Yeah, you started speaking in like broken English, but you're English, you know?
No, but okay, look.
Everybody does it. No, Nicky went through the same thing. He did
Nicky
the same.
did?
Yeah, people.
Everybody does it.
People
Everyone
give,
does it.
you know, them a
But
a
you
lot of
lost
shit.
it now, like you're back to Texas, but
Well, I don't speak Spanish that much anymore
That's what
because
it is,
because
then.
nobody, you know, yeah, I guess it's that.
you gotta
It's
find
something-
yourself a Spanish girlfriend.
Yeah, I tried that. No, I'm gonna stick to.
Loco.
I'm gonna stick
Loco
to some Texas, una gringa.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, what about kids? You said you see yourself having kids.
Yeah, I do for sure. I'd like
6,
to. I'd like
7,
to.
8
You
of
know. No, bro, no way. You know,
Boy, girl,
I'd like
do
to
you care?
practice for that many, but not actually have that many. You know, so we'll see. I'm not trying to look too far ahead. I got this feeling in the back of my mind that I'm probably not gonna live past 50 for some reason. Like
Ooh.
I don't know, like so you know.
Dude, chill.
Just,
You'll be all right.
dude,
It's just like a dark
you guys,
turn.
no. You guys ever think about that? I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna
No,
make
I don't
it past.
really want to live past it. I have 2 back surgeries already. I'm like, 45,
Yeah,
I'm done.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm starting to hurt more. I got no ACL in this knee. It's starting to hurt me more and
Really?
stuff. Like, dude, I'm not trying to get to 70 like
ACL.
that. No way.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'll plant my seed a couple times and then let them continue on for me. With my wife,
Nice.
future wife.
Just a couple
just-
muscles, just pop a couple, walk your muscles out. They'll come out ripped with 6 packs,
Dude.
That's
No.
crazy.
muscle milk in their hand.
What if you could have like? Do you want a girl or a boy? Do you care?
No, I'm not.
Not picky.
And now you're really asking like questions
Well,
I haven't
just
thought
like-
about. No, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, like,
I guess a boy would be easier, you know. I don't know. Girls are confusing.
would you
dude.
want him to race or no?
No, to be honest. I wouldn't hold it. I wouldn't stop them from doing it, and I wouldn't like not help them. But man, dude, I respect my parents a ton for.
Giving
Like,
you the
It's 100% true that your brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25. Because like the things that I think about now, as far as like perception of danger, is like way higher. Even for like, you know, like I think back to when I was racing and stuff, and I'm like, how. There's been a couple times where my dad has let me take a 600 down the street when I was like 12 years old. Like, dude, no helmet, just shorts and a t-shirt, and I was going 100.
something your
I was
dad
going,
would do, though.
I was going 100 miles an hour. My dad, dude, my dad was on my Milwaukee, no helmet, no t-shirt, doing 100 miles an hour in our neighborhood in Alabama, dude. Like, there's things like that. Also, I wheelied. I had a FC09 triple, like the naked bike in Yamaha. I wheelied it going 70 miles an hour across a bridge over this lake in Texas. And I was wearing shoes, like just a shorts and a t-shirt and a helmet, no gloves. And I'm just like, I think back to that stuff that I was doing. I was like, dude, my
Josh
hands.
Aaron over here.
I was like, my hands start sweating because I just was like, dude, I wasn't thinking at all about it. But so, you know, it's just weird. Like, so if I had a kid now, I'd be
bubble
terrified.
wrap, dude.
Yeah.
This kid would
Yeah,
be bubble
exactly.
wrap.
That's what I don't want. But like, well, I don't know. It's just, it's weird how you just.
You're getting homeschooled.
Yeah, I would never hate my kids that much. Like, no way. No, I'm just kidding. My parents didn't hate me. I asked for it, and then regretted it.
Yeah.
So,
What kind of leading into that, like what racing in general is tough now financially. Obviously, it's a big burden and getting tougher and tougher to find sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You said you wouldn't have your kids do it, but is there anything you would, you know, would you mentor somebody, or like what would be your kind of advice to somebody coming through and trying to follow in your footsteps?
yeah. No, it's a really good question.
Would you say just stop, just don't waste your time? It's too expensive. You're never
No,
gonna make any money?
definitely. I would never say that. No way. No, I love racing. I love everything that it's given me. Not like just lesson wise, like life lesson wise. Like, dude, I've learned so much through all of it. Like, wouldn't change anything. I would just say like know why you're doing it. You have to really know why you're doing it. Like you can't be for money. It can't be for fame, none of that stuff. Like you gotta love it for what it is, kind of thing. Like and it has to be yours. It can't be something that you're doing because your dad wants you to do it, your mom wants you to do it. Like it's got to be your thing. And that was something I had to go through, like going from amateur to pro. It went from my dad and everything to me on my own with my team and stuff. And then it had to become my thing, kind of. So anyway, know that you want it, know where you want to go, like have a plan. It's so true. Like you got to know where you're going and how you're going to get there, like a rough idea. If you don't ever lay it out in front of you, the chance of you ending up over here is so high. So know where you want to go and lay out your plan to get there. And like, yeah, it's going to deviate, but then bring it back, kind of thing, or adapt. And do your best to be confident in who you are and who you are as a racer, and push for it, and let people know what your goals are too. Like let people know where you want to go, because if you don't ever tell anybody, the chance of them helping you get there is super low. But also, before you start telling everybody where you want to go, make sure you got things that you like, results that you can back up your ambition, and until you have results to back up where you want to go, people they're not gonna take you seriously. They're gonna think you're just talking. You're just a talker. Be a doer first, then talk a little bit after. But do the work first. Don't just be a talker, I guess. As far as anything beyond that, like, dude, things are so different now, championship wise and stuff. Like, I'm not really sure if like Weira's still doing their national champion. Like, so I can't really give too much more practical advice like that. But I'd say probably
that's
that.
good. That's good. When can we expect to see you on the cover of Men's Health?
Have you ever
been have you
ever been a model?
What are you guys talking about?
No,
not
Men's
even
Health
close.
itself,
What the hell are you talking about?
Who was it that Nikki was like a GQ? Wasn't he like the top 100 studs of the world type thing?
Nikki he looked good, and he was actually popular and like a world champion. Like, dude, I'm not even close to any of that stuff yet. So I mean, yeah. The good looking part's not gonna change. So.
What made you do that shoot?
That's a good. Damn,
for the ladies,
bro. Damn, I hate you now. I was like I said, I wasn't feeling that good. I had just broken up with somebody, and I just needed something to do. Like I just needed to just get my mind off of it. So I just freaking killed myself in the gym, on the bicycle, running, my diet wise and stuff, and I just had a chip on my shoulder.
Shredzilla.
I just had something to prove.
Lewis Capaldi playing in the background.
so yeah, I think I did all right.
Yeah.
How much of your personal life trickles into your racing? Do you feel like, are you able to really separate? Because there's been a few times in this conversation where you've like brought that up, where like
I can't separate it too much. I to be honest, I don't think anybody can. People can say they can, but everything in your life is gonna bleed into everything else, like everything. So in my opinion, maybe that's not true, but that's kind of what I think. So yeah, I mean, there's been stuff in my personal life that's affected me in my racing and stuff. Like that whole being inadequate thing, like that was that bled into
two
it.
Different sides.
It was separate as far as like I still thought I was gonna be. I still thought I was good enough in racing and stuff. Like I still thought I was gonna be the man, but it was just they bleed into one another. You know. So anyway.
Well, I think it's about that time. We gotta have some tacos. It's
well, let's do it. Like, hold on. We got the last question.
Yeah, no. Me or you today?
No, you.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Be ready.
You fell asleep last night, so you didn't even hear it. So.
Oh no, I didn't. Not because it was boring, by the way. Because I just got back from Amsterdam 2 days ago, so my time zone's a lot.
Last night.
Dude, I
full airplane mode.
I thought you were in Comfort Plus over there. Just...
No, dude, we haven't upgraded even to that yet. We're still in economy.
Oh man, get your miles up, son. All right, so we're on death row.
Oh,
you've done some shit.
All right.
You're probably on death row for crashing top rack, but
self-induced.
You're in a Turkish cell right now.
Okay.
All right, keep going.
What's your last meal? You got.
This is the last question?
Yeah, last meal.
Death row meal, baby.
Death row meal. What is it? We want what it is, where you're getting it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
What are you accompanying with it?
All right. Well, I mean, I'm a
drink?
foodie. Like, dude, I will go miles away from wherever I'm staying at a hotel and stuff to go get something that looks good. I like everything, so that's.
I want to preface
really
this
hard.
question with the fact that you had a slice of salmon on a piece of toast today for lunch,
smoked
in between
salmon.
riding.
and a block of cheese.
Literally just biting the block of cheese.
What?
Yeah. I didn't even like come up.
I don't
so
even
it
know.
was
I don't even know if Liver King does that.
No, he doesn't, because he don't have bread. Yeah, I've been off my diet a little bit, but
Okay.
I'm mostly there.
Who's your diet guy? Like we gotta cut this.
Goggins.
Yeah. Who's my diet guy?
Yeah. What, Doctor what?
Chase Banks.
There you go, Chase Banks.
Not the Chase Banks.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
you're
I
on
don't know.
death
I don't
row.
know. I would say, dude, I really like Indian food, so probably Indian food. And there is a place in Andorra that has the best Indian food. The guy moved there from India to Andorra like 10 years ago, and he's got this place. I think it's called Mandala or something like that. It's in the center of Andorra la Vella, and it is my favorite place in the world to go eat. So I'd probably have
What is it? What is
homeboy.
that?
What are you getting on the menu?
No, that's the thing. Is like you show up and he tells you what you're gonna eat.
What?
And that's the way I like it. I like being told what to do. So
Alrighty then.
What are you having it? What are you accompanying with that drink?
no, I do like some chicken tandoori, something like that, or some
Is that like
some
a
butter
fancy chicken tenders?
No, dude, you gotta get out more, man. You're stuck out
You
here in
said-
Chuck Wall
you
in the
said-
desert, dude. You get
You said chicken tendores?
tandoori. No, chicken tandoori. Dude,
It sounds
all
like
the
chicken
cultured
tenders,
people
come
out there
on.
know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Are you having a drink?
Yeah, a glass of red wine. Yeah, I'm sophisticated.
What kind? Do you have a favorite red wine or?
I'm gonna go with no, I don't have a specific. No, I was gonna try to be fancy and
Probably
say.
the Corey Alexander blend from MotoDofo.
Oh,
Ooh.
shameless plug.
Plug in
What?
there.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And
I'll have
then
to
I
try it
have
unless you know what it is.
You having dessert?
No, because I'm dedicated.
For what? Death?
Hard work, dedication.
Hey,
Hey,
you just said
but
you want to die by 50,
You're gonna
dude.
die. Like you're on death row.
No, I go out. Commit,
Shredded.
I go out. I
Going
go
out
out
doing
living. Man.
He goes out shirtless.
No, dude, walk the talk.
Walk the dog.
What do you want me to say? I mean, I don't know. I'm
It's
kind
your
of.
death row
Dude,
meal,
we
baby.
were on a little intermission before. You were asking for some pies up there in the cabinet.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you were.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you were.
I don't know. Something. Not ice cream. It wouldn't be ice cream. It'd be like. You know where I had sorry, this is going way too long. Where I had the best ever dessert. You're not gonna believe me. The best dessert I've ever had was on an airplane in economy. On a Delta flight, dude. It was a Delta flight. I can't remember
Oh,
where
no,
it
you're
was.
lying.
No, I
Let's just
swear,
shut it off.
dude. I
Let's just end
swear.
it there.
And it was like a cheesecake, but it was
a
dude.
cup?
What it had like it was, dude. Yeah, it was cheesecake in a cup, but it was
I've had those.
dude. I can't remember what, but dude, it was so freaking. I'll take one of those. All right, Delta. Let me know what you guys got over there, and I'll take that.
All right. So, Garrett Gerloff pod,
Yeah.
done and dusted. Thank you so much for having us. You've got your YouTube. What's the name? The tag on it?
Yeah, just Garrett Gerloff.
Okay.
So keep it simple.
Everybody can watch it on Garrett Gerloff. There might be a couple plugs from this pod on there. Worked out a deal. Can't thank you for coming out and to Chuckwalla and flying here. I know you're jet lagged, and I know you're only in the U.S. for a little bit of time, but we've loved having you. We've loved hearing the stories and hearing some of the personal stuff about you. So we appreciate it and thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it a lot.
We've
No, it's
got
been fun.
we've actually got some clothes coming here pretty soon. I think.
Yeah,
for the next
yeah,
month
yeah.
or so.
yeah.
Yeah,
We got
no,
some
I'm
official merch
I'm
coming.
a big Defy All Odds guy.
Yeah, but you
and-
got merch coming, don't you?
Yeah, I got my own merch
he's
coming
seen
soon, so
Dude, it
I'm
looks sick.
I am pumped about it. So you'll be putting that out
Yeah,
soon. So
yeah.
appreciate, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me out here and stuff. Been fun, and hope everybody enjoyed it. So looking for sponsors also for those videos. They're not cheap, so if anybody wants to help out, that'd be bomb. So
Yeah.
appreciate y'all.
Sick. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Thank you.